And we're back.
Hello, everybody.
Yo, what up?
Whoa. We're alive again. That's crazy. Fuck, I can't let this happen to me.
We cast the moification beam on Spinner this episode.
I can't let this happen to me.
Moe, cute.
Don't stop. Stop. This
Moe,
can't be who I am now. You don't understand. You don't understand.
And
It's
now,
living
the
rent-free in my
moment
brain.
you've all been waiting for.
Yep, the anime episode where Spinner becomes an anime.
3, 2, 1. Moe B.
And then I fucking explode and die.
It's the first, 3 seconds of, when Nova explodes and Milky Way wishes.
Grav out here with, finally day 2, even though it's been, a week.
Yeah, we had enough time to, cripple and traumatize a lot more ID and I last time.
A second week is kind of like a day 2 if you think about it.
If days are weeks, then I guess, yeah.
I mean, time doesn't really matter. It's just an idea that we've all agreed upon, same way as words. So
This is true. This is true. The thing that does matter is cycles, and day and night cycles still exist regardless of time. Very long day and one short week. I don't know, Grav. I don't know about you, but I've had days like that, and I've had weeks like that.
I have had yeah.
That being said, I can recognize when my pacing is not perfect, and that was one of them.
To be fair, we kept stealing the pace from you, and we're like, no, we want to, just do one more thing here.
It was just kind of a matter of just the day of a million things, because I don't disagree with the stuff that you were handing us, because it was paced properly for us playing as humans, but then the game itself has just been, we just kind of sat down, and I think we all collectively went, how many days has it been? And then we all went, oh no.
Oh. Yeah, it had been 2 days at that point. It was crazy. Torment Nexus Day.
I have it marked on my calendar.
Spinner goes to take a break from that day, sits down, puts in Signalis to, relax and
Stop.
decompress.
I'm gonna hit you with an overly sized frying pan.
Is it because I'm an egg? You go make a fried egg.
No, it's because I'm going to hit you with an overly sized frying pan.
If you manage to get sneak attack on that, you get summon blue.
Yeah. Signalis would make Spinner worse, by the way. I think Signalis would make Spinner worse. I think Spinner would play that game and then be like, there actually isn't a point to anything, so I actually should stop trying to be nice. And I think she would become a villain.
I can see that. Spinner's villain arc.
That is exactly not the media she needs at this point in her life.
Now, kind of on the same vein, does Life is Strange do the same thing to Spinner?
No, because it's not as good or well written, but
Yeah.
True.
I think she plays it and she almost has feelings about it and then goes, eh. And then she reads a book that she is very passionate about, and then instead of becoming evil, she just becomes really obnoxious to people who like Life is Strange.
The tragic Yuri pipeline of Life is Strange into Kill 6 Billion Demons into Signalis is a straight line.
Correct. All it takes is one bad day, except it's all it takes is one bad Yuri.
But yeah, we are back. We are here. We will vamp and we are queer. Well, mostly. But regardless, we want to get to some introductions. I'm going to make the person I have heard speak the least here. Skelly, you go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Scaly Alpha. You can find me on Twitch, Blue Sky, and YouTube under the same names. Big week coming up for two reasons. One is tomorrow is the 3D model debut, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And Art Fight is starting. Also, third thing, I guess, we're going to be finishing up the second half of Deltarune sometime mid next week. So,
Art Fight.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Art Fight. I'm planning out hanging out with a whole bunch of people while working on attacks on people, so it'll be a good time. That'll be it for me. I will pass it over. You know what? Take backsies. I'll pass it over to Leah.
I will take the brand new modeled skeleton skull that we're gonna be used for speaking today, but will be revealed properly tomorrow on Skeleton Alpha's channel. But I am Amusing Thalia. You can find me here on Sundays. You can find me here on Tuesdays. You can find me on my channel on random days, usually Mondays and Thursdays, but also some other days throughout the week potentially. And in addition, you can find me punking around with Punky on Fridays, where we do sapphic shit. And speaking of Punky, I'm going to toss it over to you. Talking Small, go!
Oh shit! Oh my god! I almost dropped it and broke it into a million pieces. I'm so
Just-
sorry. That would have ruined the debut for tomorrow.
We would have had to get it remodeled and everything.
Oh my god! It just made the sound just.
Hey, sorry, I almost said "Hey, everybody," and then I
Hey, everybody,
had to,
it's...
well, I had a crossroads of "Hey, everybody, it's Punkiplier," and "Hey, everybody," and I was like, I'm fighting off two different kinds of brain rot. Hi, it's me, Punky. You can find me finally on my own channel most days of the week. Channel is twitch.tv/punky_o_o. What do we do? A lot of stuff. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a work stream, and then we're going to be playing Minecraft. Tuesday I might start Super Lesbian Animal RPG? Question mark? Question mark? Smiley face? Question mark? Wednesday we might have Gunk Tank with Guy's Ghost Paws and some of our other friends. I might do some Dark Tide. Thursday I will not be live. Friday we will be doing more Signalis, and we will be beginning our second playthrough, which will likely be very hellish for me.
So I'm taking, just as a heads up, I'm taking it upon myself to look up spoiler-free guides for the other endings. So
you.
I will be the guide for those streams. I will take that evil upon myself.
That will be very good and important because it's going to be very execution heavy, which is kind of the thing that I'm worried about. So we'll see how the fuck that goes. What else will we do on Friday? I don't know. I'll probably get drunk. I'll probably play Pokemon or something. Maybe some Minecraft. We'll see. Saturday, whatever. I don't know. I don't have a schedule anymore because I have too much ADHD to figure one of those out. If you want to know when I'm going live, you could join my Discord. Oh, or you could follow me on Blue Sky, which is at Punky, PUN-KI. Otherwise, you can find me on Vaughn's channel a lot. You can find me with Leah. You can find me with Skelly. We all do stuff together often because these are my dear friends and they make fantastic things. And if you don't follow them too, I have a bat. So, well, you know. And I'm gonna throw the skull so hard at Vaughn that it knocks his skull off, and then two skulls end up in Momo's hands.
Here, wait, I have to catch them. Okay.
Double chug. Juggle with two.
Did you say chug? Don't chug the skulls.
No, don't worry.
I'm just
Chug,
imagining
chug.
Momo. I'm just imagining Momo doing the Mo from Simpsons. Yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah. Hi. I am our writer, or Holly, or Momo, and you can find me at Retrospectacles on Blue Sky. I draw stuff sometimes. I'm very busy right now, so I'm not drawing a lot. I'm trying to, but check me out there for when I do stuff. I'm here every time for Suits, and I show up on Punky's channel quite a lot. So yeah, that's where you can find me. I will pass it over. I think it's just our lovely host now. Yes.
I believe so.
Why,
All over
thank you.
Juan. Mhm.
And yes, hi, you've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on Blue Sky and YouTube at Burnout Vaughn, over on Patreon at Burnout Spar. Busy week this week. I want to say starting at least on Tuesday officially, we should have another installment of the Cosmic Caper where, we had a boss fight, things went well, nothing exploded off in the distance. A bunch of the afterlife was not released into the regular life. We're totally fine, totally fine. We did successfully steal a lot of stuff though, so I'm happy. But following that, I get to announce for the first time on stream that starting Thursday, I've got a whole new adventure with a whole new friend to show everybody. I and the Trinket Witch will be starting our blind playthrough of Persona 4 Golden, which we are calling the Skeleton Crew Persona Crimes unit. So if you want... So if you want to watch two skeletons just, wander into what we only know basically is a murder, then yeah, come have some fun with us. We're going to have maybe a basic walkthrough, and then just the rest is just going to be vibes. And then following that, on Saturday, we should have more No Love War Extra, where we might finally complete this episode of The Devil, where, we've gotten the full Ace Attorney style personality change on our current, what we suspect is the actual killer. So now we just got to prove it, despite the fact all we actually really need to do is prove our client didn't kill anyone, because this is not our job. But hey, cyberpunk dystopia, you gotta love it. And then following that on Sunday, we return back to Carticus, where, oh boy, we get to meet the Dreadlord of the Domain of Dread. That's totally fine. That's
I
nothing
thought we
scary
had
at all.
one more week off before we return to that.
Oh no, you're right. We have more suits. I'm tired.
No,
but
it's
yes,
okay.
no.
I just wanted to double check, because I was like, I don't want Sarah's to get scared or anything. I'm pretty sure next week is more of this shit.
Surprise!
Yeah, no,
Sarah's run a session now.
I just feel Saris off the distance. I'm in a plane.
Just like what?
I can't. I don't have internet.
But yes.
Big energy of I can't. I simply can't.
And well, I can't advertise next week's episode Suits until we start this episode Suits. So that sounds like the perfect segue for me to start our theme song. So let's get a going.
Record once we're out of like spoil. Oh, he's back. Is he back?
That was a
I saw him
quick
indefinite.
Vaughn return.
I mean, yes, I'm back.
Holy.
Hello,
man.
welcome.
He's back.
Well,
Back again.
In that case, let me swap the music. Hello, computer?
Computer.
My computer not wanting to minimize certain programs or turn certain other programs on, but it works now. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Let's hit us with, let's hit us with Another Day. So, as I like to start off with every session, I would like to go down our player list with how many times you've advanced and how much potential you have so we can start our journey. Why don't you start us off, Zeitgeist?
3 for 3.
3 and 3? You got it.
Mm-hmm.
And you, our writer?
Let's see. Oh, I think I forgot to mark off what I did last time.
Oh shit.
Oh, I got rid of a. That's right. I got rid of a thingy. So I am 3 and 1. I am one potential and 3 advancements.
3 advancements, 1 potential.
Mhm.
What about you, Spinner?
I am 3 advancements, no potential. I need to figure out what my 3rd advancement will be.
Alrighty, and lastly, certainly not leastly, our Black Mirror.
Oh, I forgot to actually mark one last time. I'm at 3 advancements, 1 potential. I
3
forgot to mark.
advancements, 1 potential. In which case, that leaves us with our lowest potential and advancements with Spinner. If you would like, you may give us a recap for a potential.
Yeah, why not? I might as well take it. I'll have to figure out my level up on the fly, but that's okay. Because I've been stewing on it and I haven't decided. Last time on Threadbare Suits, let's see. We had a very long and involved conversation with the Nobbler. We also we made it out of the day that lasted forever. I know I'm gonna miss some stuff. I'm so sorry. I'm unmedicated. You have to forgive me. You're obligated.
I am obligated to forgive you.
I'm trying to remember. We discerned specifically that our good friend, quote unquote Chris, as we called him, was specifically only able to talk out of in a time stream, out of a time stream. I'm still as unclear as Spinner is.
It was
but
never really explained. That part was never
Right.
really explained, but they did seem to have to stop time to communicate with you all properly.
Right. So before communicating with this Chris individual, whom Ryder and Black Mirror had already run into and gotten into a little scuffle with, we had a conversation with them instead. Spinner being much too exhausted to put up a fight, and choosing to try and settle things amicably instead, which we did manage to do. We played a little bout of 20 questions back and forth. Spinner kind of stubborn and unyielding on her ideals. Zeitgeist just kind of out of commission, like, yeah, I don't fucking know, dude. And this Chris character, very reluctant for the force that they worked with, trying their best to be more on our side than not. In which case, we garner some information that there is someone that is a danger to the current timeline. That is not us. As far as this Chris character can tell. And if we were essentially issued, not quite an ultimatum, but just the objective statement of fact of, if we do not manage to stop this individual and apprehend them before problems are prolonged for too long, then the IDNI is going to give us the ultimatum of work for us or else. Which we all know how that's going to go. With that issue, this Chris character offering us a doorknob to contact them should we ever need them, in exchange for trying to collect information on this individual threatening the timeline, bid us adieu, as Ryder showed up, post eavesdropping on most of the conversation, being fast enough to move despite the stoppage of time. Not much was done about that. Spinner and Ryder are still kind of having an awkward relationship. And as the time stream shenanigans was going on, I believe Black Mirror was just doing some repairs on the base and kind of making it a little bit more fortified, and setting things up defense-wise in case we do get attacked again in the future, which seems likely since it happens so often within the span of a day or two. Speaking of that, we finally made it out of a day or two. We did a light montage where we went through the course of the week, and we kind of described what all of our characters were doing, and passed some time. A lot of us were worried about Heatsink and checking up on her, but kind of doing it in our own ways and in our own time. A lot of us were cleaning up the baddies, and Ryder specifically searching for this lost companion turned foe, to see what had happened to them, where they had gone, where they're based out of, maybe gleaning some important information in doing so. Spinner took out her anger, but it didn't count because she was just knocking out some pigs, which is totally fair because I have to break something important. And pigs are not important, ACAP. Trying to remember, Ryder did a little FaceTime with her #1 fan. Spinner had some private time with her neighbor, whom she has still chosen to withhold information from. Leah, did we give the neighbor a name ever, by the way?
Yes, yeah, they do have a name. Let me double check to make sure I get the name right, but we absolutely do have a name for them.
It was so long ago and we've so rarely used it that I can't remember it, but I felt like we came up with a name too. Yeah, and you'll have to forgive me, I cannot remember for the life of me what Black Mirror had been doing. I remember everyone, mostly, and then I'm like, fuck, what was Black Mirror doing? And that's kind of the last piece I'm missing, is what Black Mirror was doing during the montage.
I can fill that in.
Yeah, thank you.
Besides doing the obvious repairs, Ryder had given an older version of a Ryder belt link, and proceeded to try and assemble a protective suit for future battles to come.
A little spot of engineering. I don't know why I turned British. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean, at least you're sorry.
I'm so fucking sorry. But that's about it. That's all I got for recap.
I can't remember. I wanted to double check. Are the barista and your neighbor, are they
same person?
They're the same person, right? Okay, then it is Maggie McLean.
Maggie, okay. Maggie's a good name. That makes sense. I would crush on someone named Maggie.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that wonderful recap. I believe that earns you, without a shadow of a doubt, a potential. So, thank you for that. We now return to the scene of our heroes' last major sort of scuffle, but also their home, the place where they spend most of their time, the Vigilante house. Now fixed up and repaired a little bit, thanks to Black Mirror and some of the other residents here. You all, I believe, or I would say a chunk of you, have gathered within Heatsink's office / apartment room / the place where they're recovering. And I would like to know who all is here. I kind of am assuming that everyone is here because there were a lot of you that were checking in. But with sort of like a scuffle going on, I think maybe one of the other members of Vigilante House would do like the sort of like lean in, yell to everyone in the house, like, hey, Heatsink's getting up, that kind of thing. You all can decide for yourselves, though, whether or not you would be there for Heatsink actually waking up, like in that scene. And then we can decide whether or not we want to hard or soft frame this. So I will leave that to you all, and I will be right back. I'm grabbing next.
Well, Zite's whole
What do
thing
we,
for his serious moment was staying by Heatsink's side, so he's there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why Ryder wouldn't be, and if not, would just be there instantly otherwise.
I don't think Spinner's there. Or I think Spinner, actually, I take that back. I think Spinner's there, but she's not in the room. She's doing the thing where she's kind of
Mhm.
like outside of the room.
Covering the
Door open, you leaning just outside the door frame, that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Feels very fitting. Well, what about Black Mirror? What about Shannon?
I would definitely say she would be somewhere nearby, helping like provide refreshments or anything that might be needed on the off time between working on the new suit and doing touch-ups around the base further. She would be able to conjure up, anything that might be needed on the fly.
So, in the scene where she is getting up, do you imagine yourself in the room, like maybe sitting at like a chair on the far side, maybe conjuring up some like some drinks, maybe like a food that is Mia's favorite, Mia Kwan being Heatsink's actual name?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, hell yeah. All right. Well, you are making probably some tea and some other, maybe some like fresh water and that kind of thing as you're currently sketching that up, and it's like coming into existence on the table. For those of you in the scene, so everyone except for Spinner at the moment, do you want to hard or soft frame this? Because I can either kind of like give a brief overview of kind of like what she would say in this moment, or we can actually role play out the scene.
I have no like immediate preference. I'll go by the voice of the many.
Vox Populi, you got it. I guess a better way to ask this is, does anyone have specific roleplay or questions in character for Heatsink, or do you guys just want the information?
Yeah.
I don't think Ryder has any specific questions. I think if anything, she's just like wanting to make sure that she's okay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and it can be kind of an individual thing. For example, if someone has specific things that we can start a harder frame there and move into an actual scene, but otherwise, we can just kind of get people's vibes and move from there. So it makes sense for writer / you. What about for Mirror and Zeit?
Black Mirror does have questions, but I'm not sure she would want to hit Heatsink with them immediately upon wake up.
Immediately upon wake up, you got it.
We want to make sure that she was okay and being able to move and talk.
Yeah, makes sense.
I would say, despite
ahead,
like Zeit like staying in the room with her for most of his downtime and everything, he didn't really have anything like to ask her or like follow up. He was basically just kind of in there because like he felt slightly responsible not getting there in time, so I think he's basically just checking to make sure she's okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I think we're gonna soft frame this where we see a lot of her like getting up, those of you who are in there providing some attention to her, like you hand her the tray of tea and she thanks you, drinks from it. There is a S.U.I.T.S medical professional in here, a medical professional who specifically works with superheroes, so like they have more of a training for how to operate with powers and that kind of thing, do a lot of study and that sort of stuff. And the moment Heatsink gets up, I think we kind of left off on this note where the room suddenly starts going very cold, like middle of Canadian winter cold. to extremely hot, Arizona on a summer's day hot, like Phoenix, Arizona on a summer's day in the middle of the sidewalk hot, and is rapidly changing between these two kind of extremes of temperatures, even like pushing those boundaries a little bit. And as this sort of like, I guess, weather or temperature effect seems to be happening, the medical professional like shoots up pretty swiftly and moves over towards a tray where they have some stuff set out, where they immediately start, like, they pull out a little vial, they drain some liquid from it, and while Heatsink is still like kind of in the process of waking up, they inject Heatsink with this drug or chemical of some kind, and the temperature immediately starts to regulate in the room. And as the like almost the sweat on Heatsink's brow sort of starts to, the perspiration starts to fade a little bit, as it is no longer, they're no longer causing their own body physical pain. This medical professional kind of dabs the sweat off, and Mia's eyes slowly start to blink awake. She's tired, she's exhausted. There's some pleasantries exchanged, some appreciation offered from her to you all, a little bit of like some like, you know, somewhat sassy comments from her, like, wow, I didn't expect you all to be so sentimental sitting around here, and kind of looks at the group of you all, sips from the liquid. She appears weak, but she's generally okay. There's a little bit of checking in done with her, and this medical professional sort of like gives the thumbs up, and then would kind of dive into, they kind of sit on the edge of the bed and they dive into some questions. If this medical professional becomes more of a character, y'all interact with them, we can figure them out more. At the moment, it is mostly a device for a story device for like this sort of interaction to happen. But again, as always with this game, if there's anything you want to pursue, feel free to interrupt me and do so. But this conversation begins to start up between this medical professional and Heatsink, where she's kind of asked about how she feels, whether or not there are any additional effects, if she needs a stronger dosage, how her joints feel, whether or not she's running hot or cold, and to let the medical professional know if they need any changes to the dosage, and that they would be leaving the sort of lower dosage extended period pill form here for them. And you all are just present for this conversation. I think as that scene sort of begins to end, I think there's a lot of like medical jargon and talk that happens for a while, and you guys, I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, would slowly sort of like mill out, like would slowly sort of like leave the room and sort of move on, I suppose. Is that correct?
Yeah, though
Oh,
I would say Zeitgeist would at least make a point of, since I noticed it on the map, he'd probably make a point to like at least keep her abreast or warn her of, yeah, we adopted a shark.
I'm sorry, what?
So you know how people just
We
start
don't have
randomly
a
getting
tank. How the hell did you
I'm
adopt a
getting
shark?
I'm getting there. I'm trying to preface here. So you know how people just suddenly get powers?
Oh no.
Yeah, the shark got cursed with basic human intelligence. Yeah.
No, the shark got connected to the human psychic. Fuck. Okay. Where did you find this shark?
A biker game tried to kill a teenager, so we stopped them and adopted him.
Oh, for the love of God. And she kind of like pinches the bridge of her nose, and the room starts to like heat up in temperature a little bit. And the medical professional is just like, hey. Like, yeah, hold on. I got it. Okay, we'll figure it out. Ryder, I assume you're taking care of this.
The shark?
Well, the situation involving the shark, yes.
Yeah, we're just gonna tell him that maybe don't eat people, and that's where we're at right now.
That's probably a good thing to teach a shark person, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, hence why it's the main
Oh,
thing we're
it's-
teaching it.
Oh, it's so nice to wake up. This is awesome.
On the upside, he loves Mr. Rogers.
That's good to know. We'll track down some DVDs, I guess. Zeit. Under my desk, there is the bottle of alcohol that you... And the medical professional's like, you cannot be drinking. I can, and I will be drinking. Thank you. Please grab me the bottle.
Zai just flies over, grabs it, brings it over.
Can
It has
can I
been-
interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think instead of Zeit getting it, I think you just hear like Spinner like poof out of the room, or I don't even think Spinner's in the room yet. I think like Spinner just appears with the bottle like a couple seconds later before Zeit even like leaves the room, and is just like holding the bottle out to Heatsink.
They look up at you and they don't say anything. There's no like thank you verbally, but they just give kind of a nod before they take it and go, I can feel that my body has spent days without alcohol in its system, and the collective withdrawal is getting to me. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to kind of fix my systems. If you guys need anything, what's my recovery time on this? And then look towards the medical professional who kind of gives them like a loose few days to sort of like walk around, but with their age, like a week or so before they return to any strenuous activity, that sort of energy. And the conversation then sort of like takes a heel turn into the like care for Heatsink afterwards, and she rolls her eyes but doesn't really say anything to this. And as she pours herself a little bit of liquid into, she drains the like small glass of water that she has, and then starts pouring the alcohol into that glass that she just drained the water from. But she actually gives you, you would notice this probably, Spinner, but she would notice, she would give you like a faint sort of nod. And then she would hold the bottle out towards you.
Yeah, I'll take a swig.
Well, I take it, since we're all alive, that you managed to take care of some of the situations. How have things been going since I've been out?
I think there's like a collective like collar pull.
Yeah. Spinner just like
response.
literally like grimaces and then like looks over at like Zeit to see if he's looking any better, and then maybe looks over to like Black Mirror to maybe get a response. Noticeably very much not looking at Ryder.
I think physically y'all are definitely feeling okay at this point. It's been some time.
Yeah, it's been
But yeah.
sorry.
It's been...
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I
I was
just
just laughing at it's
said
been.
yeah, I just said it's been because I can't stop myself sometimes.
It's been... Mia slash Heatsink would kind of give like a dismissive wave and goes, okay, we'll get to business some other time. I'm gonna take some quiet, and I can't help but by the smell of it get the sense that Zeitgeist has been sitting here for some time. So why don't you all take it easy? I'm alive. You don't have to worry about it. You're not gonna get fired from Suits for losing your handler.
Normally Zai would say something, but he's trying to hold it back.
What was that,
Spinner,
Spinner?
Spinner does not hold it back and just goes, you know that's not what we were worried about, right?
No, actually, I didn't know that.
Fuck off. And she just kind of rolls her eyes.
Mia sort of narrows her eyes at you a little bit. You starting to care, Spinner?
Oh, fuck off. And she just like puts the bottle on the counter and she goes, I don't need this shit right now. And instead of teleporting out of the room, she will brave having to walk past Ryder to walk out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say before she left, Zeit would have been hovering behind her and would have just mouthed, "We're working on it."
She just gives kind of a nod and turns to take another sip from her glass before kind of laying back down in bed and just kind of staring up at the ceiling for a minute, just sort of taking some stuff in. And I kind of leave this open to you all because we did kind of go into a little bit of a hard frame for some interactions, but for Spinner's leaving, but for Ryder, Zeit, or Mirror, do any of you want to have any further conversations with her in this moment?
Black Mirror, besides attending to having good drinks and snacks available for Heat Sink, would politely say, I am glad you're doing better.
I'm thankful that there are some reliable members here. Regardless of the drama we might have, I think all of you at least got some level of capabilities to yourselves. Plus, this food is delicious, by the way.
Of course. Once you get a little bit better and up on your feet, we can update you on what has happened the past 4 or 5 days.
Alrighty, sounds good. How you doing, Mirror? This is your first field assignment, yeah?
Yeah, it's been rough, but thankfully we've had the medics and others on standby for when I've gotten hurt a couple of times. I've actually been working on something to help me with that, thanks to Ryder's help.
Kind of furrows her brow, gives a sort of like slightly narrowed eye nod at you. Well, I look forward to seeing it in action. I won't take your suspense away.
She nods and says, I'll be happy to show you once it's done.
She smiles, kind of holds the drink up and sort of tips the glass towards you slightly in a mock sort of cheers motion. And what about is Zeit you good here?
Yeah, like
right?
Yeah, Zeit
I
left as well. I just wanted to go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like I said earlier, Zeit, despite spending most of his time like watching over her and trying to like, see if there's a change in their thing, he didn't really have time to articulate or think about how he would talk to her afterwards. So I think just after seeing that she's fine and like giving what information they decide is like relevant now, he would just eventually hover out of the room and hover down to his little hidey hole.
Yeah. And Ryder, you good as well? You also heading out? Or are you waiting for a moment?
I think waiting for a moment.
You got
I
it.
think there's like not a lot of like people who have like a similar amounts of experience to her in her current existence.
Yep. Yeah. For you, it's essentially like there are a few heroes that work in the city that you have that sort of like history with. There's Carbon. There's like the big name heroes. Like one of the new premier heroes, Mr. Fix-It, is someone you were contemporaries with at the time. Paragon is another one that like you were contemporaries with at the time. But like, yeah, beyond those, not really.
Oh, Mr. Fix-It mention.
Mr. Fix-It mentioned.
Mr. Fix-It mention!
Mira, do you eventually make your way out?
Yeah. After making sure all the refreshments are topped off in the little talk that they had, she would make her way out of the room.
Mirror, you're actually, as you're kind of making your way out, the medical professional kind of gives a, hey, wait a moment, and sort of like makes their way up to you and has a bunch of questions about your abilities and powers to ask you, mostly on like synthesizing things and like whether or not you can like make specific chemical compounds and that kind of stuff. And we'll follow up on that scene in a minute.
Okay.
But they kind of like walk and talk you out, and you are given a quiet moment in here with Heatsink Ryder as she's just sort of staring up at the ceiling. Actually, she would like not really staring up at the ceiling, but like facing towards the ceiling, just lying down, eyes closed. But you know she's awake. Do you need something?
Out of character,
Mm-hmm.
Momo question.
Yeah.
Just to ensure I like understand everything. How much have we briefed her on, if anything, since waking
Not
up?
too much at the moment. If you want to
Okay.
save a scene for after you guys have fully briefed her on everything, you can. Or
Okay.
you can just say, I brief her on the stuff that you want relevant to the conversation, and then have that conversation.
Yeah, I think I would brief her on everything. If she's like functional for it, I'd probably
Yeah,
ask.
yeah. Are you
I'd
gonna
probably
brief
ask
her
if she's
on?
okay.
Yeah. Are you intending to brief her, or is the intention to brief her
On everything.
On everything?
Yes.
Got it. She would probably give a. Yeah, we'll probably do an official one with everyone, but sure, why don't you give me the off-record
Mhm.
take?
Yeah, and then she'll just kind of like relay all the information. I think if there's
Is
anyone.
there? Yeah, and I think because this is the off-record take, is there anything that Ryder does or doesn't specifically mention and or focus on in this? Is there anything that they do or do not focus on to like does she add specific intention to certain things or focus or
No, I think
yeah.
I think if there's like anyone to be blunt with, it's her. Just because if there's not someone as fuck everybody else as her in the situation, but like on a similar like mindset, I suppose.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if there was ever a time, I think she would make sure that there's not anyone present, and then do so.
Well, from the sounds of it, it sounds like whoever this Chris individual is, they might be a good person from a bad situation, but we can't know that until we see what their full intentions are and how well the sort of interactions that the others have with them. I'm going to leave that to you all. I'm going to keep that one off the record. So when we do the official briefing, I want you to not mention that, all right?
Yeah, of course.
And talk to the others. Keep that to yourselves. I don't want that connection getting back to Suits. I don't know what certain people in the administration would do with that.
Yeah, and we're not going to tell them about my friend either.
Kind of figured that was the case. What was their old hero name, by the way? I remember you running with a rider, but they went missing about the time that I started, so we just missed each other.
Rhino,
Rhino, that was it. Rhino Rider, like the beetle.
Yes.
Yeah, they had that fancy, like, cool helmet.
Yeah, we had a little cute alliteration R&R thing going on. It was very of the time.
Yeah, that that old 80s flair.
Indeed.
Or was it 70s? I got started in the 80s. Like, you know, been a while.
Oh. Don't worry about it. Time's a strange thing. Even
Yeah, I
stranger
feel like
now.
that's more relevant more relevant now than ever.
Yes, unfortunately.
Is there something you want my take on? Need some advice on?
I'm not sure. I think it's just nice to talk about it with someone uh, on a same kind of level, I suppose. I've done the leader thing a bit before, but I've never, and I've had like hot-headed types, and I've dealt with my share of plenty, but it feels different here with Spinner. I'm not sure how to unwrap that one without it getting messy.
Roll pierce someone's mask. Roll to pierce her mask here.
Mhm.
I am so sorry, punk.
I think you get a plus to this because or I think it gets evened out because I have influence over you and you have influence over me. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you do get a +1 here because you have.
Okay.
Oh wait, actually, this is a better question. Do you have influence over heatsink here? I think so, if I remember.
I'm
correctly.
pretty sure I do have heat
Yeah.
influence over these things. Yeah.
With influence over heatsink, take a +1. In general, if you have influence over a character and you have a role that relates to them, add a +1.
Yeah.
That's mostly for y'all to keep track of, but good reminder on that, punk.
Okay. So, what's the plus on that in total? 2?
It would so y'all's can't. I'm gonna say y'all's cancel each other out in this moment,
Yes, just
because
+1.
it is some. Yeah, so it's just a flat +1 to pierce the mask.
Holy.
Kapow. Okay, so you get to ask 2 questions. Actually, you get to ask 3 on a 10 plus. Ask 3. The questions that are based with Pierce the Mask are as follows, and I will also copy paste them here for you, just in case. But they are: what are they really planning? What do they want you to do? What do they intend to do? How could you get their character to blank, and how can you gain influence over them? In general, with this kind of question, I allow you to replace one of the questions, especially on a 10 plus. I allow you to replace one of the questions with a question that you might have that isn't on the list. This is just something I am like slightly changing about the game. Is I love Pierce the Mask. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think the questions are a little limiting, and I want one more in there, and I'm gonna figure that out myself. But for now,
Okay.
I'm gonna let y'all just kind of. You can ask one question of your design, and then 2 from that list.
Okay. So, and this is aimed at
At heatsink.
Okay.
But the questions are aimed at heatsink, but you're piercing my mask, right?
You're piercing heatsink's mask because it's heatsink's mask, and in how they're reacting to you bringing up Spinner here, because heatsink knows about your past, and so therefore there's that like they could end up revealing stuff about you here.
Can I offer something that I think also may be helpful here?
Yeah, of course.
I think especially on a 14, and knowing my character and what's going through her brain, on a 14, I feel like you'd be able to definitely glean some more about how to like make an advance on this issue with Spinner. And quite honestly, I think since Heatsink has been out, and since Heatsink has a little bit of a myopic view on my character, you would be able to like glean things about the situation from like a contrast in what you might have like subtly picked up and like Heatsink's answers. I don't really know how to manifest that through the questions here, like whether or not you can ask one question to me as well.
I was
or,
actually,
like...
I was actually gonna make a play off of that. Is
Okay.
you can choose one question, either the one that you come up with yourself, or one of these questions that are listed here. One of those can apply to Spinner, based on the question in the conversation here with Heatsink about Spinner. Is that kind of what you were thinking, Punk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's a really interesting way of running that. I like that suggestion.
So, sorry, okay, so I get to ask 2 questions, and then one of my, one of my own design.
Yes, 2 of
Okay.
the questions from the list, and then one of your own design. One of those 3 total questions can be asked about Spinner.
Okay. So the influence one is off because I have that.
I would say it's mostly off, and you probably don't want it. However, that being said, if you gain influence over a character you already have influence over, then that character, you get to adjust their labels a little bit, which kind of is sort of a way of representing you are changing how they interact with the world. So this could be a situation where if you gain influence over either Heatsink or Spinner, you could actually kind of like, and in like we would talk about it. It wouldn't be just like you change how they act, but we would talk about how you are sort of changing their mindset, if that's the intention you want here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I want to know what. I mean, I feel like I already know what Heatsink would want me to do. I feel like that question is a little redundant. So like I feel like those 2 are like off.
Yeah.
In regards. And then like. Huh. I'm sorry. I think I'm a little lost.
Yeah. You're okay. You're okay.
I don't really understand what's going on here. I think is what's going on.
Okay. So we'll start.
Yeah,
we'll start from the beginning. You're okay. You're okay. No apologies needed. You are having a conversation with Heatsink.
Yes.
You mentioned struggling with Spinner. Heatsink has history with Spinner and is reacting to you asking that question. Thus, the prompting of the Pierce the Mask question here, because you are you are getting potentially more than just the conversation would give you. So these questions aren't necessarily questions you in character are asking them. They're questions that you will receive some sort of insider information about in this scene. Okay. The questions themselves can be like a bit more broad, they can be specific, but they can relate to either Heatsink or Spinner through the lens of Heatsink here. Okay. So, for example, this is something I sometimes do for people, but I don't always like to do it, especially with this group, because I don't always like to give super leading questions with this group, since you all tend to have very strong ideas of what you want. Yeah. But if I were to do this, which is something I do with my Monday group sometimes, I will sometimes walk through of like, okay, so this is what this might kind of look like. For example, what are they really planning here? You might get an insight as to what Heatsink sort of like mentality as to how they're mentoring you and how they're interacting with Spinner, and what their sort of plan is for continuing to interact with Spinner and that kind of thing. Like, how are they planning on continuing to lead this team? What do they want you to do? Could be a situation of like, what are they wanting you to do to step up here? What kind of
Yeah.
leader are they wanting you to be? What do they want you to do to connect to Spinner in this moment?
That's
what
probably
is-
the main one.
The main
I
one?
think.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll put a pin in that. To kind of go through the rest of the questions really quickly would be like, what do they intend to do? Would kind of be a similar question of like, what do you want me to do? But it would be her actions. So how, kind of in the same vein of like, what is she planning? But it's like more what her actual actions are, not her intentions behind the actions, not her like thought process. Was like, what are her next steps? What do you imagine her doing here?
Yeah.
How could you get her to blank is a sort of broad question, is like, how can I get her to give me more information about this? Or how can I get her to reveal to me this secret about Spinner here? Or how could I get her to give me more insight on Spinner, give me some information I don't have on Spinner, in that kind of situation? And influence is pretty simple. Like, how can I further increase my standing with this character in this moment? The other question that I'm thinking and considering asking to or adding to the Pierce the Mask is, what are they really thinking? Which is kind of a version of like, what are they really planning? But it's kind of in the same vein of like, what do they? I think the way I would phrase it is like, and here's how I'll put it. And this is like a temporary, is in that for now, subject to change. But what are they not wanting to say right now? Like, what are they trying to hold back right now would be the question I would maybe add to the list. I'm considering adding to the list.
And then what was the thing you and Punky were talking about before? Because I think that's where I lost track.
Got it. The idea that Punky had was, because you were talking to Heatsink, but you were talking to Heatsink about Spinner, that rather than all three of these questions being directed at Heatsink, one of them is directed at Spinner.
Okay.
Like, you can ask me one of the questions even though I'm not in the scene, and I will give you an answer about my character.
Yes,
Okay.
Because you're receiving that insight from Heatsink.
Then it would be, what do you want me to do for Heatsink?
Mm-hmm. We'll start there. We'll start there. What do you want me to do? Is that directed at Heatsink, or what do you want me to do about Heatsink? Or sorry, what do you want me to do directed at Heatsink? Correct. That is the first question.
Yeah, directed at Heatsink in regards to the like leadership thing. Like, what is it that Heatsink is wanting me to do about this situation?
The way that she reacts here is like, oh, you're like, oh, I'm having trouble with Spinner, etc. And the way Heatsink sort of reacts to that is sort of like almost a pained expression. Like, there is an expression of sadness and distress almost across her face. And in this moment, the way that you ask it, she kind of sees you wanting to step up as a leader. And what she kind of reveals to you here is that what she kind of lets you know about what she wants you to do is that she wants you to actually bring Spinner into the group in some way. She wants you to find a way to connect Spinner to this team.
Okay.
That there is a distinctive desire for you not to give up on Spinner despite it being difficult.
Then I mean, the natural question that would be pointed towards Spinner would be, how could I get your character to connect with the team?
Great use of that question.
Yes.
How could you
Great
get me
use
to
of that
connect with the
question.
team?
Yes.
I think you don't need to get me to connect with the team. I think you need to get me to connect with you, because I think
Yeah, that's
Spinner
kind of
Mhm.
more, I think, what
I
my
think-
question would be.
Spinner is very interested in connecting with the rest of the team. Right now, her problem is connecting with you
Uh-huh.
because she has seen you as sort of an extension of Suits. Because you're kind of this big, you're like a former big name hero, and with that comes like a
Yeah.
sort of like prestige and privilege, more importantly, that she's
Mhm.
never really had. And she also kind of finds aggressive and off-putting, even if that's not like how you've been putting it forward, because
Mhm.
she's done a lot of work in the like in her communities, and she's seen kind of like the not great stuff that Suits does just because they're like
Yeah.
a corpo, right? And I
Yeah.
think the thing that kind of solidified this for her was she had influence over everybody before you did, and she felt like she was doing a better job as like team leader and like getting everyone to open up to her on accident than you were on purpose, and that has made her jaded towards you in a way that kind of spilled over and snapped when a villain from your past then jeopardized everyone's life.
Mhm. Yeah. Spinner has this false understanding of who Ryder is based on interactions that Ryder has had
Mhm.
with like Heatsink more specifically.
Yep.
And just like other heroes. Um
I mean, the other writers in town, right? Like
yeah.
even just being with the level of like friendly that you are with Carbon, that in
Mhm.
and of itself is like probably that sort of it,
Yeah.
it is like very much like almost like Graf said, like it's like knowing a celebrity, right? Like the fact that you are on first name basis with with a big name hero is in and of itself sort of exemplifying that sort of disconnect.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's kind of the double whammy of like, you're not from my world, and you proved that when I got closer to everyone else, despite my thing being that I don't want to. Is kind of how she feels, I think. Even if she doesn't know that as in clear of words in her head.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, the takeaway from that is that I just need to let you know who
Mhm.
I am,
Shrug.
Mm-hmm.
who I actually am.
You got one more question?
Yeah, it has to go towards Heatsink,
Towards Heatsink.
correct? Okay.
Yep.
Give me the what are they not wanting to say right now?
They know something about Spinner that they are holding back, and they are not wanting to say that thing in this moment. And you can't tell if it's out of a respect for Spinner or out of a like not wanting to throw a wrench in things. You think it's probably out of a respect for Spinner and like Spinner's like history and that kind of thing.
That, and I just like
they're-
know Heatsink, so I could assume that like Heatsink, despite the bravado that she kind of naturally has and like dickish nature, like still cares about people.
Oh, absolutely.
we're
It is very
heroes.
much yeah, it's very much her thing is she has this sort of standoffish personality, but when push comes to shove in pretty much every situation, she will do what's right for the people around her.
The hot comes
And
with the cold.
hot comes with the cold. She is not saying something here but whatever she's not saying, you know, is extremely relevant to your current relationship with Spinner.
Yeah. I think kind of realizing that, she'll just kind of be like, I know there's something unsaid between you two, and you don't have to tell me, because unless you want to, of course.
She does the like open her mouth to say something, but no sound comes out, and then she closes it.
Spinner seems to have this idea of me in her head, because I know you, and I know other writers, and to someone with less information about me, they think that I'm working with suits, or have always. And you know me. You know that's far from the truth. I don't think me just saying that to her is going to do much of anything, because I think she's too stubborn for that, frankly. But I don't want to step on either of your toes. I just care about us. I mean, ideally being friends more than colleagues. And
She actually almost winces when you say that. Like, she gives a like, ooh, sort of expression. It is not my place to talk about Spinner's past or Spinner's business, but Suits represents a sort of corporate side of something that once meant a lot to her. And with how everything went down, to me it makes a lot of sense that the sort of clinical nature that Suits can handle things sometimes with wouldn't appeal to her. You're gonna have to find a way to make her trust you. Not make. You're gonna have to find a way to earn her trust. And to do that, you're gonna have to show that you are someone beyond the mask, beyond the suit that you wear.
I mean, there's a pretty easy way of starting to do that already. We're just not going to tell them about everything going on with Chris. If I was with Suits, I think I'd probably be, sucking their dick about it and, telling them everything.
I think that's a smart start.
Of course. It's only a start.
To be her friend, you're going to have to show that you need to not just be able to keep up with her. And I don't necessarily mean that with powers. But you're going to need to prove to her that you're not going anywhere when push comes to shove. And that's a lot easier to say than it is to do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't intend on going anywhere.
They never do.
I think that puts puzzle pieces together
Mm-hmm.
in her head. And she just goes, oh, I see.
You see her bite her tongue, the inside of her cheek. She's more she wants to say, and she sort of grimaces slightly, eyes still closed, kind of looking up at the ceiling. There's no more I can say.
No, but I think you can see the irony of it all, considering my situation and my being, I suppose.
There's a reason I requested you two on a team.
Okay. If there's anything that you need, let me know. You know I'll be here in a flash. Rest up. Don't be stubborn.
Oh, I'll be up and at him, and I'll be bugging Zeit before you know it.
Of course.
You look out for that kid, by the way. Tries to
Yeah,
act it, but he's pretty young.
Yeah, he... It sucks being old and seeing yourself in people, you know? See a little bit of myself in all of them, and they're not always parts I like.
I would say it, gets worse the older you get, but I'm preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, it does.
I wonder.
Do you...
Did you ever think that about me?
What do you mean?
When I was starting, did you ever feel like I was following in your footsteps the way these ones are? Sorry, that was a weird thing to ask.
No, it makes sense. I think then it hadn't really hit me yet. I was still... Then it was just kind of like, oh, I guess I'm just kind of 20 years old for a little bit longer, right? But more time has passed, and I think it's given me more time to think about it. And admittedly, then I was already making plans to just kind of disconnect myself in some way, even more so. I wouldn't say I'm wise now, but I definitely wasn't as wise as I am now. That, and I hadn't really lost anyone yet. At least in the same, in like the old age way, I guess. Comes naturally with the line of work to a painful degree, but I think when that started happening, it was a little bit harder to ignore.
She once again opens her mouth to say something in response, but then closes it and just sort of nods the head gently. Curse of being a hero. There aren't that many that can save you.
Don't I know it?
Take care of them, all right? We'll catch up soon.
You take care of yourself.
Yeah, it's nice to be back to the world of the cognizant.
It is. It's nice to have you back.
Well, that's a first.
I'll see you soon, okay?
She does the rider salute. Well, still, she doesn't, move anything else, just the arm comes up and does the rider salute.
I do it back and I'm gone.
Outside, as the door transitions to another door opening into the main area, we see Black Mirror and this medical technician kind of talking. The medical technician, Black Mirror, begins asking you quite a few questions on how you are able to synthesize materials and whether or not you can make chemical compounds, which we kind of touched on earlier. You tell me, is that something that Black Mirror has the capabilities to do? Can you synthesize drugs and chemicals and mixtures and that kind of thing, or is it more solid objects?
She can make quite literally like anything. This would include synthesized complex chemicals. However, she has to fully understand what it is when she's drawing it. If she doesn't know what it is, that clear substance might just be water. This is why she has all those like medical and technological like engineering
Mm-hmm.
books like in her house. Is if she reads up and studies them and understands what they are, when she draws them, it is what it is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so if you put the intention behind what it is and you know functionally how it's chemically made up, you can make that thing. And that's basically verbatim what this medical individual kind of says to you. And they kind of nod their head and they reach into their like coat pocket and they pull out a slip of paper and they write some stuff on it and they hand it to you.
Okay.
They give you the option, if this is something you don't have to do, but if you wish to pursue, they tell you that Suits has a program for a very specific type of like knowledge of medical knowledge relating to a proprietary substance that's used at the rehabilitation center that's associated vaguely with Suits. It's its own sort of connected but independent organization that is built and intended to take superpowered individuals, either people who have superpowers that are too powerful for them, like that cause them problems in some capacity, and to how to like help control or mitigate or limit or even in some cases reduce the functionality of their powers to make their lives easier. But it's also a rehabilitation center for people who have, let's say, done something, people who have done something like, you know, criminals and that sort of thing. Rather than being brought to a prison, they're brought to a rehabilitation center where they can potentially find a use for their powers that does not involve breaking, stealing, and or killing people.
Right.
And they tell you that this individual works closely with the rehabilitation center, and this is an option for you based on your powers, Black Mirror. That if you'd like, you basically meet all the prerequisites for entering this program as a studied individual, and this could potentially give you assets in the future. You don't have to work with this specific medical individual moving forward, but they do give you a contact card if this is something you wish to pursue in the future.
Okay. She would nod and say that, and tell the medical technician like if they need more help like producing materials for said like rehabilitation or things like she could
Mm-hmm.
potentially help with that. Like she would need to study like up on the material and like any
Mm-hmm.
kind of like complex chemicals and stuff. Um,
And that's where they kind of bring up in that it's kind of a closely guarded secret. If use of this chemical that this person's talking about were to be more widely known or used, it could be used for potentially nefarious purposes. And so it's kind of kept as a like closely guarded Suits secret. So it is something that you could, because of your position, you could pursue if you wanted.
okay. She would definitely pocket the card for certain. She doesn't necessarily weigh which way she would necessarily go in the moment, but she definitely
Hmm.
does pocket the card like in like her lapel uh, to keep it safe.
Absolutely. Yeah. This person just gives you an option. They kind of like saw you after you like made the drinks and everything for everyone, and they kind of like pulled you to the side, and as you were walking out they like asked you a bunch of questions on your powers. After like you answered a few, they were like, here, if you want to pursue something a little bit more on the medical side of this, I work with a rehabilitation center. We have some proprietary chemicals that I think could benefit you and you could benefit us. Feel free to reach out if you ever wish. That sort of like conversation.
Absolutely, yeah. She would definitely show interest there.
And they kind of like shake your hand, and they begin to make their way out, and they're like carrying all their stuff towards their vehicle, and they head out. And that's where we're going to step away for you for a moment and back to Zeitgeist. I want to give you a scene before we take a quick break.
Okay,
So I
definitely.
want you to tell me what you feel would be fitting for Zeit here. What it like, it can be in this evening, or it can be like later this night, or it can be starting the next day or starting a new scene, but I would like you to kind of give us a good lead for where we come back after a quick break.
Oh, okay, I gotta think on this here. I would say probably he would, at a certain point, if they're working on it out in the open, so I would probably just get a little interested in Black Mirror's armor project.
Yeah. So I think we'll leave off with you sort of. Are you helping, or are you just like checking it out?
He would check it out. Well, while he is bonded with a sort of super advanced, like, future tech, he does not understand tech.
Yeah, we've kind of established that is you just have the tech. It's not really like for the now that we know more serious reasons than just you having it.
Mm-hmm.
But still, regardless, the sort of like it catches your eye, and I think we'll kind of leave off with a good visual of Black Mirror. Why don't you tell us how the suit's hung up? Is it like hung up in your room, or is it in the main area, sort of like hung from the rafters, like the planes are, kind of? Where is it physically as it's being put together?
Hanging, the parts that are assembled so far are probably hanging on the outside of her, like, container / bedroom. As it's in the process of being assembled, you can tell it still boasts a like almost like her business coat, her business like suit top a little bit, although it is in a form that is like unbuttoned. The outfit itself, it appears to be not necessarily like a skin tight jumpsuit, but it is like a form-fitting jumpsuit that appears to be made out of a probably some kind of polymer that maybe is close to ballistic weave. At least you could tell at first, except it's like a lot smoother textured. It comes with some kind of strange, it looks like platform heels. You're not sure what that's about. Other than that, it looks like it has, instead of like having the loose belt that she wears, it has some of her like quick reach belongings, like her styluses and stuff. It more has like an armband that does that deed now on the suit. But otherwise, like, it has kind of like a hanging tie. It still has her glasses, but the form-fitting like bodysuit almost like looks like it's made of something that could definitely like withstand some hits.
Hell yeah.
Maybe it has. Maybe there's some armor plating and very thin armor plating in a place or two on it as well.
Oh hell yeah! And it's all that sort of like, is it like more of like a matte or a chrome black? Like, is it reflective or is it like light absorbing?
The parts that are black are more matte.
Hell yeah. And Z.I.T, you're looking it up and down, and that's where we're gonna leave for a real quick break, because I got to go to the restroom, everyone. And I want to leave y'all and chat on our quick break for us with a call out post from one of my other Suits groups, as they say that this game doesn't have enough Yuri. Too many lesbians, not enough Yuri.
Fuckers.
But I will be right back.
Helly.
I was about to say, the ball's in all y'all court. I can't take this one any farther.
I mean, we could always pull out some yaoi for Z.I.T if you want.
But yeah, hey chat, how you doing?
Hi, chat. Hi, Grab. It's true. Will we BL or will we GL? A race to figure out the answer.
I still like the idea of like just doing the meme of two lesbians very in love, then Zeitgeist is in the place of that one spooky horse. every time we sit down and think about suits, I realize, oh, I need to catch up on my adventures with Superman, which unfortunately has not been getting episodes released online as much, so I have not been able to find places where I could watch it. Yeah, if I can't find a place where I can download it for my own personal use, then most of the sites that I would use don't have it uploaded either. Yeah, no, I mean, we live in a world with actually like functional socialized medicine, and then we have superpowers on top of it, so it is a very interesting lore dump.
I appreciate y'all dealing with the lore dumps. They usually come from like another team where it's like, oh yeah, this actually became relevant for that story, so we have to figure out how it works for that game, and then it just becomes a thing. And that's honestly why I really have been enjoying doing this with like multiple groups, because like the different groups flesh out different things, and then it's like we all experience it together.
Mm-hmm.
But I return, and I want y'all, as we're like finishing up with a break here real quick, still think you should drink your water, stretch your legs, stretch your water, drink your legs. And but while we're doing that, while we're taking our break, I want all of you to think about what you would like to do when we come back to it. When we come back to it, there's going to be a bit of like I would say not really like a thing that's happening for you all, but you all are going to get sort of like a update on the world that's happening around, like what's happening in the world around you. But then it is very much going to be like a your choice as to like what you as players, but also as characters would like to pursue. We can do some more like run around fighting bad guys as like time progresses. We can do some more team building. We can do some more interpersonal stuff for like specific characters. This is very much a I'm not pulling the trigger on another major event quite yet, as there's some like wrapping up from world stuff that has to happen, and I want to leave room and space open for like conversations and stuff. And I want to like probably by the end of the session, the intention is to get to a point where a bigger event could like happen or will happen next session, if that makes sense. Like this is going to be another sort of like get the team together, you all pursue what you want sort of session.
Okay.
So everyone think about that, but we're gonna keep our break up for another couple minutes, I'd say here.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
But
I'm
yeah,
gonna get
think
the
about what
restroom.
you
I'll be back.
like.
be right back.
Yeah, no worries. I genuinely recommend not just like the joking, drink your legs, stretch your water, but like actually get up and do a little bit of like get the blood flowing for the legs, stand up, walk around for a couple minutes. Even if you're just doing like a circle loop around your office, just do that. Do something to get that blood flowing. Unless you can't, I understand physically not being able to, but it is surprisingly way better for your body to just stand up and move the legs around a little bit than you would actually think.
Yeah, but as we were talking earlier, now I'm curious of what we've affected in other games.
Oh, absolutely. There's stuff that y'all affected in other games. Ton of stuff. Think about it. I mean, the wash in general has been pretty much anytime the wash gets brought up, it is in some way has been affected by y'all. One of my other groups, I think, if you watch Pristine, you would have seen this. Actually, had an interaction at the bar that y'all were at, and is also ended up like deciding that they felt like they were probably like knew of and were close to Taste as well. So Taste being a character is something that y'all introduced and is now like fairly world important. Some of the buildings y'all have made, the suits test. I mean, the dimensional rift has definitely come up in a few of my other games.
Also, I love Bubba in chat. I know what I might have affected.
What really? I don't think I don't know what you could possibly be referring to.
He hasn't pissed either me or Spinner off enough for us to give him a derogatory nickname. Though I will say, S.U.I.T.
Oh, I know, Bubba. I know.
But yeah, I will say, S.U.I.T. trusts Chris far less than Spinner does. That is one I will
That's
give
fair.
for free.
That's very fair. That is more than fair. Everyone is allowed to have their own opinions on characters, and not everyone has to have a homogenous relationship with them.
Though I do already have plans for what I want to do with that doorknob, I'm not gonna lie. That is true, Grab.
Good thing I've come back right in the middle of an important and pertinent scene.
Oh, whoa.
Guys, would you hate me if I talked like this all the time? I don't know that I could stop it anymore. Kyun. Okay,
You know
that one really purged it from my system.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
I
there's, like,
cannot stop talking like this.
Yeah.
Help me.
There's like a meter, and I have to like it is like the meter builds up and I have to use moves to get it out, but the meter is detrimental to me. I don't want it full. It's not
Yeah.
TP because I don't want it.
I'm gonna be real, it's not so much the voice that gets me, it's the actual cadence of an anime, like, protagonist. I was like,
Yes.
no.
Mm-hmm.
What,
No, I do
you
it very
don't
well,
really
and it's
want me to be talking like this at all times?
the problem is it's kind of satisfying.
There's something
really
nice to it, you
is.
know? It just kind of spreads once it happens. Hey, guys!
That, like,
Oh, no, oh,
emphasis on
no.
weird things. and now
Skelly,
we're
help,
all
it's
gonna
spreading.
Talk like this.
It left my body with the sparkle that came with the Kia. Yeah, none of you saw it, but I put like 2 thumbs up at the monitor. I went Kia, and there was like a little there was like a Doki sound effect behind me, and there were like sparkles that came out of
Yeah, I
my
was gonna
eye.
say
'cause I
sparkles that
winked.
came out, etc. And now the sparkles have entered our bodies and possessed us like it's some sort of. Sorry, I mean the sparkles have sort of entered our bodies and possessed us
Here,
like it's
sorry.
some sort of disease.
I forgot to hit my pose.
Ray? Where did Ray go? Where did Ray get here? That's that is my friend Ray's entrance sound, by the way.
That's really good. That's
That's really
really good. The sparkles are spreading to other people like spores, yes.
Spores, fucking fungus. I mean, sorry, fucking fungus.
This does kind of cement it, though. This is really funny. I am definitely going to get an alternate outfit from someone that is going to be like Tsundere Magical Girl Punky. And I'm going to have it on a channel point redeem. And it's going to be like not super high, but decently high, because after it gets redeemed, I'm going to have to talk like this.
Until it goes
Wow.
away. You could have it for like a whole 5 to 10 minutes or something that you have to talk like this.
You're thinking small. I'm sorry, you're thinking very small. My brain
Oh,
was like,
no.
no, I would redeem that for like, that would be like a while of a redeem.
Oh no.
I've got to make it worthwhile.
I'm sorry, I heard the word small and was immediately wondering if Tweets was gonna be summoned.
Fear.
Or Thero. But I think we're still waiting for Skelly to get back. No rush.
Yee.
Look, I am merely fulfilling my deeply closeted younger self's desires to be an anime girl. No, I just have to play one in a TTRPG game. It's kind of crazy. I've done like all flavors of like tsundere woman except for like an actual just anime girl.
Sure.
My vampire character is the closest to that, which is really funny.
Are you not doing one on break? Did I get the wrong impression?
My character is tsundere in Break, but not like super anime.
Mm-hmm.
Her name, well, she hasn't had the name. I built her for either like a straightforward action game, so she could just be a gag character, or
Yeah.
like deep story, and it went the direction of gag character. My character in Break is there's a species in that game called Mundy Mutt. They're dogs. And her name is Pummel Poundfist, is what she tells people her name is officially. Because there's two classes in that game. There's battle princesses and there's murder princesses. And she is a murder princess. But she did not.
Murder Princess is such a good anime.
She did not initially opt to be a murder princess. She was going to battle princess school, and everyone kind of ostracized her because she was a little too violent. So her real actual given name is Pom Pom Puffy Mane, but she refuses to tell people, and if they call her that, she gets really pissed off. So she's essentially like Magical Girl, but like fuck you, I got like rejected from Magical Girl school for killing too bad. So now I'm like not a Magical Girl, but still kind of.
Also, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Oh, welcome back.
Welcome back.
I think we're good.
No rush. I think we have everyone. I think we are returned.
And with that,
With that, I'm going to hold it out to my team, and whoever would like to take initiative, feel free, as this is very much a y'all dictate the pace here.
rolling initiative. Are we in a fight? Sorry, I'm sorry. That'll be the last one. I will tame my
The last one
Horrible
from you,
corruption.
that is.
Oh god.
I'm resisting the vocal stems.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
My
proud of
voice
you.
is my
You're
voice
stronger
is
than
like
us.
my voice is like perfect for that character, and I'm resisting all of the vocal stems.
Mm-hmm. I know which stems.
Yeah, I if we're talking about what I think everyone has the voice for certain types of anime character. Momo got that anime protagonist down fucking pat. Got that shit on lock. I got like third. I know my niche. I got third season villain energy with my voice, and I'm happy with that. I'm proud of that.
I just looked into the directly into the camera with both of my hands up, like, what the fuck am I, chopped liver?
Hey, whoa! Listen. Momo needs the compliments, okay?
That's fair.
What was that supposed to be?
It means I'm too full of myself.
Yeah,
You're
it
not
means
full-
I'm
you're not
fucking
full
sad.
enough. It means you're not full enough of yourself.
It's true. It's
Gotta
true.
fill yourself
it's
up.
True.
Wait, hold on.
Fill yourself now.
Fill yourself now is grit. That's really
That's
good.
Fill,
really
fucking
good.
fill yourself.
You should fill yourself now.
Wow.
I knew Molly would get a laugh out of that.
someone go make low to your god self-cessed about that right now.
What the? Mick, what? Huh? Somebody take a scene. Somebody quick. That was a
Somebody
quick.
do
Gotta get out of here.
something.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
I gotta go.
If any of you have a scene or a moment or anything you'd like to pursue as characters, now is the time.
What the fuck? Did you just get swallowed by a black hole?
Huh?
No, I hurt my toe.
Oh.
That sucks.
Would it be easier if I went down or up the list, like for people, so there's not the whole like we're waiting for other people?
I'm less waiting for other people. I just don't really have any good ideas for a scene for Spinner right now. It feels less like
Yeah.
she is I kind of written myself into a space where she is less approaching other people and people have to approach her.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But this can, and just as a heads up, especially with how how this game works, is this can be a moment where it's like, yeah, the character may not, but if there's something you want
Mm.
to happen for the character, we can make
Oh,
that happen
you
writing
know what?
wise, right?
I
Like
did remember my sub goal, and I do, and not my like, as in like, I had like an optional objective that I wanted to complete
as a
today.
sub.
No, fucking, god damn it. Get to me whenever you want, but I have an idea. If anyone else has
Okay.
an idea, they can go first. But mine is with an NPC, and I don't want to exclude anybody else who wants to have a scene right now.
I will check in with the other players then real quick.
Sure.
Before we take it away with you, just to make sure no one feels like they're getting foot stepped on. So why don't we start from the other end? Zeit, do you feel like there's anything? So we will, like I said, we're gonna start off with a little bit of information from you all, but I want to get a heads up for transitioning if there's anything that you would like to pursue. But now that I say that, I should maybe give you all the context of like, hey, here's the news of what's happening in the world around you, because maybe that'll spark something. So now that I say that, I will actually start with the little bit of update. Zeit, I think this makes a lot of sense for you, so I am still going to hand it to you out the gate. But Zeit, you're pretty, you stay up on media, right? Like you're a media personality. Like your whole thing is you stay up on that sort of thing. So you stay up on like news, what's going on in like the city proper, that kind of stuff, correct? Am I right in that?
Yeah, he would it's definitely more geared toward what would be like trending news, where it's not so much that important things are being said, it's what is most important to people is being said.
I definitely think this one counts as being quite important to people. Do you keep up on like superhero stuff?
I mean,
Like
yeah.
specifically? Yeah. I kind of thought so, but I wanted to just double check so it didn't feel like an insert. In that case, I'm going to keep asking questions because that I think is the point of this game. Do you feel like it would make more sense, or do you like check news on your phone? Are you like a newspaper bitch? Are you do you like watch the news? What's Site's main form of receiving said news?
I would say prior to this, Zeit would, uh, he would be a patron of the Foggy Bottom, whatever news like paper they would put out, and that's why he used to
Yeah.
like meet Spinner on top of like the Capitol building ruins. But since he's much farther in the city now, it's probably catching up on stuff on a mix of the different devices he's got. Like he's probably got one whole site open on his like old beat up laptop that he got when he first got here. Another one's on an old like out of date phone. While he's also scrolling through screens on the like heads up display of the device on the side of his head. So he's just kind of absorbing as much media right now as he can divide his attention through.
Yeah, there's a lot of different people talking about the same sort of stuff. Do you have an active presence on Blueit by any chance? Blueit being this settings Reddit.
I would say he does not have it's not a Zeitgeist account. He has an account there that he uses to occasionally like stir up stuff or get people talking when he needs to like get powers more in the
Check the news, but
ether.
it's also just like your
Yeah.
your sort of like check-in spot. That's your personal account. It's not your public account, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of buzz and hubbub going on. You're kind of catching up from a few days of like you guys were busy fighting the sort of mooks from the IDNI and that sort of thing. So you're catching up on like a couple days, and there's a few different announcements. The like new premier heroes from the South NC are like are making a name for themselves. There's a picture of them that's being passed around of them sort of standing in front of their first major villain that they stopped as a group. Some goat themed villain named Pandemonium, who is attacking the Hoptal that they stopped. And so people are kind of talking about these new heroes that people didn't have a ton of faith in. They're like, oh, they're doing kind of well. But that was like, a couple days ago. In recent days, there's been a little bit more pushback from them. because you find out and you read that last night there was another major attack on near the suit's headquarters, where Paragon actually had to come in from NC Central to assist. And Paragon, from their main sort of like rival villain, was hit with something that caused them to sort of go limp. Nemesis, the major villain, seemingly incapacitated Paragon, and since last night, Paragon has not been seen and is currently being theorized as to be missing, with no official statement coming from Suits as to where he is or what's going on. And there's like a lot, I think you're seeing a lot of chatter in the city about this sort of major event, like this major hero that's suddenly gone missing. It's causing a lot of people a lot of nerves of that sort of kind, and there's a lot of concern going on about that. In addition to that, you are reading about, like, I think it's been about a week or so since the major attack happened at the Premier Hero announcement ceremony, where it got revealed that, you know, some heroes were there was a villain's child pretending to be a hero that there's now a lot of drama coming out over. Another major villain named Magnitude is sort of like been that was thought to be dead and then was revealed to be alive, has actually been revealed to be a fake of some kind. There's a lot of, like, I wouldn't quite call it conspiracy theories, but there's a lot of sort of unconfirmed theories shooting around in South NC about what's been going on. And there's a lot of unsure feelings, a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity that is being felt in the city right now. And you're kind of catching up on all of that, Zeitgeist. I think all of you are eventually informed, maybe by Zeitgeist or the others, and so you're all kind of getting some information on what's been going on in the city. But you're absolutely aware that it is a time of turmoil right now, because there's a major hero missing, and there's not a lot of information as to where they went, and the new premier heroes for South NC are all very green. And it's the first time there's been a team of premier heroes. So there's just a lot of fear, I think, that you are reading from the city proper, Zeitgeist.
Okay.
And I think it makes the most sense to, like, for you to be the touchstone for all this information. But for anyone else, if you feel like it would be any of that information would be relevant to your character or influences you or is something you want to pursue, you are welcome to do so. But
right.
not to dwell on that too long, Zeit, is there anything that you are inspired to do or pursue at the moment?
Well, since I know the most about, like, above game, what happened at the Premier Hero, like, event that Zeitgeist was invited to, I would say Zeitgeist would kind of just focus on the Magnitude incident. And, like, once he, like, has a good grasp on what the actual facts are and what's the people's prevailing, like, instead of theories and whatnot, I think he would just make a few, like, social media posts being like, hey, I'm late to the party, but who gives a shit? This kid's dad was a villain. If he's a hero now, he's a hero now. And we just kind of, like, leave it at that and just let whatever fallout happens. But
are you doing this as Zeitgeist, or are you doing this in like, the private profiles?
No, he would do that one as Zeitgeist, because, like, he knows, like, how hard it is for people being starting out being a hero. But to Zeitgeist, like, a lot of how he sees the world is, are people actively trying to make the world better for the right reasons? Yeah, then yeah, that's a hero.
Can you roll me defend?
Sure.
When you defend something or someone from an immediate threat, the threat being, you know, the city condemning this hero.
I
was going to say the internet, but that works too.
The internet. Yeah, that's an immediate threat.
I got a 7.
So 7, that is still a hit. For NPC threats, on a hit, you keep them safe. On a 7 to 9, it costs you. For PC threats, on a hit, give them a minus. Okay, so if the PC is the threat, got it. For NPC threats, which is what this is, on a hit, you keep them safe and choose 1. On a 7 to 9, it costs you, so it exposes yourself to danger or escalates the situation. Which do you feel like it does?
1 second here, because I actually have some things that I need to check for star.
Yeah.
I think that this one would actually fill into one of the things I have to do for my audience specifically, which is they require frequent bouts of drama. So Zeitgeist leaning into this, like
yeah.
he doesn't really give a shit about the waves he's making. He will deal with them as they come. But for a lot of other people, there's right now looking to see the fallout and probably like rubbing their hands together.
Yeah, so you're escalating the situation a little bit. You're like, I will put my name as a hero on the thing that this hero is probably like that kind of thing. Actually, I should ask you, are you going full defense? Like, are you putting your name at stake here? Like, what is the way that you're escalating the situation or exposing yourself to danger?
Like he said, he's basically saying like he doesn't care about anyone's theories or like people bring up like moral quandaries about child of a villain, like what their reasons for doing this is. Do they have a right? He's like, no, if they're out there, they're helping people, they're saving the day and doing whatever they can with the powers they can for the right reasons, then yeah, they're a hero. Get over it. It's pretty much with that same energy of like, he doesn't really have time for people like messing with someone he thinks is doing the right thing, so he's just completely dismissing them. And if anyone tries to like start like this big flame where he's just gonna cut the legs out from under them with like zero energy, like, I don't have time for you.
Yeah. And so you to kind of solidify this, I think I want to ask, are you starting drama with people by like coming after them, or are you putting your reputation on the line here?
He's putting his
I think,
reputation.
kind of like, yeah, okay. I just wanted to double check that. Awesome. I am writing this down for my pristine group, by the way.
No problem. Though I did have something that I would do for specifically the Paragon information you gave.
Yeah.
With hearing that, considering like what a symbol Paragon is, along with the like Paragon family in general, I think Zeit would immediately start reaching out to like different people in the Foggy Bottom, specifically the ones that are on the border between the Foggy Bottom zone and the Mint, and make sure there hasn't been any like villain like activity crossing the line there, because they have a tense like non-aggression agreement between like the Mint and the Foggy Bottom, kind of based off Zeit. Like, he's not trying to capture any of them or start any like big like hero war between the Mint and all the villains there and the Foggy Bottom, but he's also like, if you come in here, I'm not going to be a nice hero about it. So he's definitely trying to see if any villain like activity is starting to leak out now that they might be getting a little bit more brave.
I'm gonna have you assess the situation here.
Okay. Making sure. Okay. That's a 15.
Ooh, okay. So on a 15, on a 10 plus, you ask 2. So what here can I use to my advantage? What here can I use to blank? What here can I, etc., etc. Do you actually? I should ask. Do you need me to read out the questions, or do you have them at the ready?
I can pull them up. I have them in a different Discord channel here.
Okay. No worries. But the TLDR on them is what here can I use to blank? What here's the biggest threat? What here is the greatest danger? What here is most vulnerable? And how could you best end this quickly? So like, how can I best end this quickly is very often better say, like in this sort of circumstance would probably be saved for after you ask the first question, if it relates to it. So what here is most vulnerable would kind of be like, is Foggy or a specific residence most vulnerable? Like, are the residents close to the Foggy or to the Mint more vulnerable? Is it like the city north of the Mint more vulnerable, or is it Foggy Bottom most vulnerable?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I've got them open up here, and I think I'll go down the list in like what I believe is the important order. So I would say, what is the biggest threat? I.e., has there been any change to who like is controlling the Mint? Is there any faction that's like breaking off? Like, basically, what's the situation on the villain side? Is what he wants to figure out is what's the biggest threat.
Alrighty.
They can figure out.
This is Yeah, no, that is an awesome question. I absolutely get that. I am going to ask you out of character. This is not zeitgeist. This is I
Hmm.
because we will answer the question with zeitgeist,
Yeah.
but I want you Vaughn to know, do you want Foggy Bottom slash the Mint to become a little bit more relevant to the story? Like, do you want this to be a plot beat, or is this just something that you are mostly doing to check in on your place of origin and your story? Because I'm fine either way, and I'm absolutely happy to write some stuff in here that will become relevant and we can like move in that direction, but I don't want to add an additional complication to the story if it's not something you specifically desire.
Then I would also open up the floor to Punky, since they've at least spent like 6 months with Zeit in that area, and I want to know if they like want to have the same amount of importance on it.
Yeah, that's a good person to open that up to. So Punk, what do you think? Is that do you want to do some more stuff up at the Foggy Bottom slash up near the Mint?
Yeah, definitely. I think any community effort that Zeit is going to get involved with, if Spinner sees Zeit doing that, or reaches out to Spinner even a little bit, she will like 100% be in on it. Like she's gonna be super gung ho about that.
Then yeah, I think probably
Alrighty.
making like some story beats for the Foggy Bottom and the Mint area would be pretty cool.
All right, in that case, do you want it to be more socially related or do you want a villain here?
Hmm. I think a villain would be
There's
cool.
no wrong
Mostly,
answer.
yeah, I think a villain would be cool if only just because it's a much lower stake villain than what we've currently got between the like super long revenge ploy and the interdimensional like villains. Just having someone who's being a greedy asshole would be kind of fun, probably.
Yeah, okay, so in which case, what is the biggest threat here? I'm going to answer by saying that there is a villain that is sort of starting to establish itself in the Mint. They're almost taking it over sort of like in a sort of kingpin style way where they recently took ownership of it because the Mint still operates on a pseudo capitalist setting because like it's technically in city borders, but it for some reason they've kept a sort of monetized aspect to it, and wash money, you know, it kind of operates in a very different and unique way, but there's some sort of, I would say there's some sort of like kingpin type moving in that recently came under ownership of it and is seeking to in some way, I think this would be the kind of most interesting way to sort of touch on some of the themes related to Zeitgeist and potentially Spinner, is that they are seeking to, through social influence, almost using social influence like a currency, come under control and ownership of some of the residences in the north end of the Foggy Bottom and in the residential district close to in the residential district like right next to the Palace Cafe and that sort of apartment complex, that sort of close living complex. They're attempting to come under ownership of it in some capacity, either like by trading with the city things that would be really useful. Uh, I want to know a little bit more because I like making these sorts of like, especially off the cuff characters with you all. So because it's most immediately relevant to you, Zeit, why don't you start us off? What do you does this villain have a power?
I would say they have a power, but no one knows probably the full length of it. Like, it seems probably like not super like strong, but somehow they've
Got
utilized it
it.
to get where they are.
Yeah, like you're not quite like supposedly they have a power, but it doesn't seem that strong, yet they have the influence that they have. So maybe it's theorized that that power does a little bit more, but no one really knows for sure besides
Yeah,
maybe their like close circle.
yeah, like
Do you have any idea for that?
I have a kind of idea. Like, this is less like what it is and more of just like the vibe. But in a series
Mm-hmm.
that I read like a long time ago about superheroes, they had kind of like the main villain that was off fighting with the actual like main cast of superheroes. The idea was that he was basically just an Iron Man villain who had the one superpower of he could tell whenever anyone was lying to him.
Hmm.
So kind of like a power like that, where people would just be like, "How is that useful?" And someone just basically found out either a way to weaponize it or the best way to utilize it.
Yeah, I don't want to just take that power, but I do really like that idea for a villain.
Yeah.
I'm going to open it up to the team. Does anyone else have an idea for what that cool power would potentially be?
That's a good question. Like, the way you describe that, Vaughn, makes me think of almost like some of the ridiculous powers like JoJo characters have. That like, all right, how is this dangerous? And then they find out it's really actually really dangerous because of the ridiculous ways it gets used.
100%.
100%. If no one has any ideas, I'm happy to spitball some stuff as well. I just like to leave this to my players as much as I can, especially for this kind of thing.
Yeah, so just to make sure I'm understanding specifically, the kernel of the idea is like understanding if a hero is like telling the truth or lying.
I think the idea behind that was, or I think where that came from is like, oh yeah, this is a like kind of minor Iron Man villain where they're using this power really cleverly. It doesn't have to be lying or that kind of thing. That was just sort of like a touchstone for it. I think what we're looking for is a power that doesn't immediately seem powerful, but could be used very cleverly.
I think I kind of like that, though. I like the idea of being able to tell when someone is lying, because kind of taking the reading that Skelly has of like a JoJo power, I could end like kind of taking what Grav and Bubba have been saying in chat of like a crime family or like a kingpin. I like the idea of someone who kind of like rises to power at the top of like some sort of ring or circle. Not because they're like really intimidating or physically strong, but because they have learned to use this ability in very clever ways. And what I'm imagining is like they can source pieces of information that heroes have written that like heroes have not thought about, like a post on Blueit, or like maybe an interview that they did for like a newspaper, and this villain can like pour over these things, and just from those pieces of media still like get the objective impression of whether or not they're lying in those moments, and they
So
can
I'm
kind of go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just
I
gonna
didn't mean to
say
cut
they
you off.
You're good. I was just gonna say, like, using the ability to that extent, it would be kind of like a very research heavy, like, this person, rather than being like very physically strong, is essentially like a really, like, when you step into an interview and your interviewer like knows things about you that you had forgotten. I'm kind of imagining like that, but for a villain, you know?
Yeah, I definitely am seeing what the kernel that you're kind of going for. That's sort of like keeping people honest and using that in a sort of malicious manner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is just a pitch, of course. I think a fun sort of play on that could be, and this is like kind of a play off of a little bit of like there's a My Hero Academia character that doesn't have this exact power but has a similar like trigger for their power of if you engage them in conversation, they have access to your memories.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty spooky.
Yeah, it's kind of spooky in that, right? But also isn't like immediately powerful and requires that sort of like social interaction.
And it's
What do y'all think?
It's a good villain for our resident yappers.
Yep. Any changes to that ability that y'all want? Because that was just something I kind of I came up with based on what y'all were saying. But if there's something about that you don't like, or there's something you want to change about that, I would, player input is paramount in this game.
I definitely like it. For it gives a good puzzle for the person who's always lying as well as the person who's always talking to try to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, then I will write that down. All right, the next fun part about this is we need a name for this villain. We need some touchstones for them. So we got a power, we got the kind of what they're about. We'll start at the bottom here. Scaly, I haven't heard from you in a second, so I want you to give us our first touchstone for this character. It can be a name, it can be like a physicality, it can be a personality type. What are you thinking?
What was the power again?
The power is if they can engage you in conversation, if like you respond to them or in some way like begin talking to them, they can access your memories. Yeah.
God, the first thing that came to my stupid brain was Gossip Girl.
That is a
very
JoJo
good.
stand.
Oh,
That is very JoJo
Yeah.
stand.
JoJo stand.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have an idea.
I'll keep us legally
Yeah.
safe and call them Gossip Gal or Gossip Guy. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Well,
It sounds good.
What are you thinking, Zeit?
well, I was thinking of possibly for something that like works. They originally start out as a villain like with that like moniker, but they realize how to use their powers, and now they're just kind of going by their own like legitimate real name as they're trying to establish themselves.
Ooh, got it. So that's something you could potentially learn.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. I like that. Alrighty. That's really good. That's really good.
I think
Then
that they
moving-
a
go
wild
ahead.
question out of nowhere. You ever think that they just like access a memory that they really wish they didn't?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
time.
They have.
You think that's like how they
seen
stun them?
shit.
Like that's their weakness? Like if they're thinking about
Absolutely.
something on their brain that's just like rancid and it like stuns them or something.
That is such a funny way. Is like, oh my, yeah. I could see some very fun ways to use that. That's very good. That's very good. Awesome. That's great. So X villain name is Gossip Gal. What about you, Punky? Give us a touchstone for this character. Give us a characteristic.
Fuck.
It can be simple physicality as well. Like it could be a name. We still don't have an actual name for this person.
I want them to be really short.
Really short? How short we talking?
Yeah,
I
define
don't
really
know.
short.
Which is short.
Yeah.
What if they're like gnome sized?
Like actually a small person?
I'm thinking I said that and then I was like pixie sized. Like what if they're like like microscopic and they're like they have fairy wings? Like they're like what if they're almost, since their power is kind of weird and like meta, like what if they were almost like fae-ish?
We have I would say this is not the first time that in one of my games a very Fae coded character would be made, and I am honestly fine with that being a thing because it leads the implication to when there were like histories of Fae and that kind of stuff. Those were just old superheroes that people didn't realize were superheroes, like way back when. The other superhero, or this other villain that actually had that was Pandemonium, was basically just a satyr. They could like use music to control plants and that kind
That's
of thing.
kind of what put it in my head, right?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like something sort of like folklore-ish, or like more mystical, especially since this ability is very I think this is one of the first abilities that we've had that are like really kind of weird in a like
Tricksy sort of way.
exactly. So I feel like that'd be really like suitable.
So I'll give you two choices. We can either make
Okay.
them like an actual straight up pixie, or they can be
Okay.
like a fucking elf.
Elf.
Elf?
I like there was like 3 seconds of silence and then
Yeah.
elf.
I had
That
to
was
think
very
about
good.
it. I had to think
Yeah.
about it.
All right, we talking like, all right, real quick, we talking like fantasy elf, or we talking like Santa's elves?
I'm talking like elf on a shelf.
Hell yeah. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty.
This
We're
freak
cooking.
got kicked out of Santa's workshop.
He wanted to be a dentist.
He did want to be a dentist.
He didn't make it to elf practice.
A tragedy.
Fucking what a pull, Skelly. And I haven't seen that movie since my childhood.
We watched it for Christmas this year.
Why?
True.
Movie's disturbing.
The year
Damn.
fucking Santa Claus came to the fucking fuck the first one, I forget what is it called.
Santa Claus is coming to town?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, they're
This is
both
fantastic.
you put one foot in front,
In front
Of the other.
Oh my god, my
But that
fucking
song.
flashbanged right here by my childhood. Momo, give us another characteristic because I'm writing down elf on my
Okay.
fucking notebook.
This is
Sorry.
what happens when I don't have
So,
anything else to go off
I
of.
can't-
They're
I think that's a
tiny
small barrel now.
Christmas elf with fey ass powers because they can just make you. They can just pierce into your mind, right?
Yeah.
They can't
Okay.
do anything with it. They just access your memories.
He can't freaking
Okay.
do anything with it. He just looks in your
Okay.
mind.
Okay. If I enjoy the idea of them being a family. And I want the business that they work under as like a front to be called Lock and Key, like LOCKE and Key.
Like the comic.
Feverly googling something.
I'm gonna spell key differently. C-A-Y, lock and key, like the island.
Yeah, I was gonna do that, or like KEYE.
What do you think? K-E-Y-E or C-A-Y?
KEYE.
K-E-Y-E. All right.
EYE.
E-Y-E. Lock and key. All right. Does the lock or the key relate to their actual name?
I mean, if they are people who, if the person is someone who can enter your mind, then key makes the most sense because
Imelda
they would
Key.
just have the
What
key.
do we think about the name Imelda Key?
Pretty good.
I'm down for it.
You meld a what?
Imelda Key.
Well, I was making a joke because it's Imelda, so I said you meld a what?
A key.
Like
A
you.
key.
Yeah, you melded a key. I don't know what's so
All right.
You're
I'll
right.
leave.
I'm sorry.
I'm leaving.
You're fucking hilarious. Amazing. Momo, that's awesome. Thank you for that. And we just I think we got a physicality. We have a name, we have a power. Vaughn, we're coming back up to you. Is there anything else you want to add to this character?
Not that I can think of. We've gone an entire distance with them, so I think they're pretty interesting as they are.
Alrighty. In which case, to answer the question that inspired this, which is what here is the biggest threat, the Mint has recently come under ownership of a organization that is based out of the Wash, known as Lock and Key. They are almost like a conglomerate in the old corporate way of how conglomerates used to work. This company, this organization, Lock and Key, functions like a company, and they have been in some way or another receiving or gaining ownership over many different important locations across the Wash. You actually find out that this started in the Strip at the ex-airport fight club across the water, and has been slowly weaseling its way into the Wash more, or the Wash proper, across the water, across the river, so to the south of everything. You know that they have tried in a couple different times to purchase or otherwise gain ownership over buildings in Foggy Bottom, but have not been able to do so because of the heavy S.U.I.T.S presence there currently, because it's more the ACAB presence, because it's a reclamation zone. However, what you learn is that this company that I think they've been kind of on your radar for a while, Zeitgeist, probably because of your bad history with big organization companies that own a lot of things. Because while S.U.I.T.S has a lot of influence, S.U.I.T.S doesn't actually own that much, especially like land. They are a union, to be very specific, and everything that they own is owned by everyone who's associated with S.U.I.T.S. You have as much of a right to the Vigilante house as anyone in S.U.I.T.S does, right? Like it's communally owned. This is not that. This is classic corporate structure. It's all owned by the people at the top. They've probably been on your radar for a while, and they recently purchased the Mint, which is probably the first foothold that any organization like this has had this close to like the city of New Columbia since its inception. And while it is seemingly innocent at the moment, Zeit, you're looking at the numbers, you're looking at the way people are talking about them, and you just get this sinking feeling in your stomach. You have another question?
Then he would immediately follow up here with everything he's reading. What here is in the greatest danger?
What here is in the greatest danger? The residential district to the east or to the west of the Mint. That section near the Heroes Memorial, the Palace Cafe, etc., is, while technically in S.U.I.T.S grounds, it's in a very contentious part of town. It is close enough to the Wash that they have to deal with like problems that come from the Wash. It was the reclamation area prior to the Foggy Bottom becoming the reclamation area, and since the leaving of infrastructure there has been a little bit of like social support and social networking that's kind of gone missing, that these people are threatening to provide, if that makes sense. Like, if these people start providing assistance, and it can come as altruistic, but if these people start providing assistance to the residential area, you're worried about a, like, debt accruing in some capacity, and then there being, like, legal troubles with the city. I think you would also worry that the Foggy Bottom is at risk. Not quite probably as much as the residential district, but you are probably worried about it nonetheless.
Okie dokie.
And that is what you learn during this time.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you're spending a lot of time there. Is there anything else you want to touch on with your character during this little bit of, not really down period, but like nothing specific happening quite yet?
I'd say he definitely key Spinner in on this and be like, Zai would just be like, again, this is important. We're probably going to want to keep an eye on it. Whether, leaning back to how they were originally with the fact Zeit still has more faith in the team, but he's giving off the same energy of earlier when he was talking with Spinner of, if this thing goes tits up, it's still you and me against everything. So he's kind of going to her with the Foggy Bottom problem with that energy.
How does Spinner respond?
Um. Hmm. Sorry, can you run that back for me one more time?
So, while Zeitz seemed like more like in touch with the team and more like comfortable with the group, he came to you with this information, but he's coming with the same energy that he came to you like back when we were at the bar, and he told you that if everything goes wrong with this, if this team like breaks up in the next 2 hours, it'll still be you and him against like whatever's coming their way. So he's coming to you with that energy, with this specific problem for the Foggy Bottom.
Yeah, I think knowing that Spinner's not going to go out of her way to prevent the rest of the team from like knowing about this, but she's also not going to reach out to them. This is kind
Got
of
it.
a like Spinner's. This is kind of a like, we got this. Like this is our deal, and we got this, and we don't need other people to help us.
Like, this is in your area of the town. Like, this is y'all's
Mhm.
business. This doesn't
This
have
is
to involve the rest of the team.
Yeah, maybe a
That
little bit
kind
of
of
a
thing.
pride thing too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would
In
say
which case, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I would say the only person he only kind of clue in, he wouldn't explain anything, but he would ask for their assistance. Is after everything else went down, he would like reach out to Heatsink and just be like, "Hey, could you look into like this, and this in the eastern residential area, just for the sake of like he wants to like look over some records or make sure if anything's happening."
Mm-hmm.
Especially with you asking Heatsink for even a little bit of assistance, I'm gonna have, and this is for the sake of just knowing and whether or not you'll pick up on something going on. If you get a 10 plus, you may ask additional questions, but I would like Black Mirror and Ryder to roll me Pierce the Mask to see whether or not you pick up on the two of them kind of being distracted by this other thing.
Right.
There you go.
On a 7, you just pick up that they're being distracted. On a 10 plus, you get to ask an additional question. So on a 7, you pick up on it. What about, and Black Mirror on a, so that is a 9, which is just that you pick up on it. You can, if anyone would like, you don't have to. You can look at the questions to see if there's anyone that you would want. But if there is a Pierce the Mask question that Black Mirror or, I think if Black Mirror or you as well, Ryder, if either of you would like to know, you may spend a team as the two of you kind of work together to figure this out. You don't have to, but
Yeah.
if there's a Pierce the Mask questions that you two want to learn, you can team up and make that a 10, and it will cost a team.
I mean, what are you really planning seems like the right answer if you feel the same, Skelly.
I like that one.
I'll give
All right.
the team to you so that it becomes a 10 then.
So it became a 3 because we started a session, and then it drops back down to 2 because you're using it. So that will... so what are they really planning? I want Zeit and Spinner to answer this question.
I mean, we're just planning to deal. I think Spinner wants to deal with it. I can't speak as much for Zeit, but I can say for Spinner, she wants to deal with it like, and have it not be as much of an issue as everything else. I think she's hoping that by getting less people involved, they'll be able to deal with it faster, which is maybe like paradoxical and like illogical, but that's kind of how her brain is chewing through it. Like, the less people and the less like tape we have to go through, the faster it'll just be for like me and Zeit, people who like kind of know these streets, to be able to deal with this thing.
It's like a pride thing, right? It's like we don't have to ask the
Yeah.
others. This is our thing to deal with.
Yeah.
At most, I would say,
So I think,
if like,
yeah, go ahead.
I'd say the most that like Ryder would get from Black Mirror probably explaining it to her is like what was said last session about what Zeit said about how someone's always got to look out for the other guy. This probably seems like that's what he's working on right now.
So the what they're really planning is what you kind of learn is that they're planning on doing it themselves, just the two of them, and that they are looking into it on their own, And whether or not you agree with that, whether or not you want to let them do that, but you learn that they are intending to not ask for your help with this.
Okay. Fuck.
And I definitely think we will be diving into that more next time. I think flavor-wise, it's a few days of you guys looking into information and pounding the pavement up in the foggy pounding the bottom, as it's called, to learn some information about like from the streets and what's going on there and talking to people and that kind of stuff. And I think for Black Mirror and Ryder, you two are kind of like aware of what's going on, but from like an arm's length position at the moment. Alrighty, awesome. Fucking great work, Zeit and Punky. Like, great work on setting all that up, and we will absolutely dig into that next time. Moving to Ryder, what would you be getting up to, if anything, during this sort of period of time?
It's kind of this empty period of time.
A little bit of an empty period of time. We can do some like kicking some ass. The moment, the intention of what we're doing here is to set up for things in the future.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think in response to this knowledge that like she would get of these two, I think she's taking the I need to get these people to trust me to heart, and is just going to trust them.
Okay.
Because she doesn't really have like a reason not to.
Yeah.
So it's definitely that, like, definitely wanting to just like be trusting. But I think if you can humor me and remind me what, I think I just got a direction with the other rider and where they were headed. Yes. From what I recall.
They seemed to be able to use their speed to somehow enter the dimensional rift with some intention. So you are almost, because what you learned last time with your roles and what you chose to learn rather than follow is you learn that in some way they are able to use their speed to intentionally access the dimensional rift, not just like step into it, like use it in some capacity.
Okay, I think that with that, I think once Heatsink is feeling better, I think that Ryder is going to ask if Heatsink has any like non-Suits affiliated connections with people who have like similar powers to her own, or someone who might have more knowledge about the subject at hand.
All right, are you looking for more knowledge about, like, are you looking for them to know someone in relation to like speed and that kind of thing, or are you looking for someone, or is it an and/or situation?
It's kind of like it's definitely more like it's definitely primarily like speed.
Got it.
It's like a mix. It's kind of an and/or situation, I guess. It's like wanting to primarily look for someone who can like explain to her like the connection between like this kind of travel and speed.
Okay.
But looking for either, just for any leads, if that's like not something that could be found.
So I'm gonna give you a choice here. We
Yeah.
can either roll for it and
Okay.
like have a like twist on a roll, which
Mhm.
is how I sometimes do things where it's like, hey, roll this. If you get
Mhm.
this, something happens. If you get this, then it kind of functions
Mhm.
normally, but with this additional effect, which I do sometimes. Or you can just tell me, I think that they know someone, and then right now we will figure out who and what that person is, and we will dive into that next time. So which would you prefer? Would you want it to be like a roll? Do you want to be like up to some chance, or do you want to for sure have it and then we figure out a character relating to that?
I've kind of had an idea for a character
Yeah.
that I think
So
could
you
be
kind of
fun.
want to just make a character.
I think I kind of just want to make a character.
Okay. Yeah. No. That is why I asked, because it's either, hey, you roll something in relation
Mhm.
to heat sink here, and
Mhm.
that kind of decides where you learn this information, and then I would probably write a character and then you interact with them. Or we
Yes.
come up with a character and they for sure go, oh yeah, I'm gonna point you in this direction, and then we do that next time. So it sounds like that's the option. So let's come up with this character. Are you thinking that they are more related to speed, more related to time travel, or in some way are related to both?
Um, like it's time. I think it's time. Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you another two options here.
Yeah.
We have a character in another Suits game
Okay.
that is actually a player character that I
Okay.
think is weirdly fitting for this
Okay.
situation that
Is it
could
time for the
relate to a
crossover?
bunch of things. Yeah, and so it's either I talk to them and we potentially do a crossover,
Mm-hmm.
or we come up with a character that we figure out how they relate to everything right here. And
Okay.
I want to give you this choice. I don't want to make that choice for you, since this is relating to your character and your story.
Okay. I mean, for me, I
Yeah.
know instinctively I never want to deny the possibility of a crossover because that's cool as fuck. Well, also, I've wanted some kind of like because like in my brain, in Momo's brain, writers are kind of like primarily like Japan based.
Yeah.
And if I could have a Mr. Miyagi, then I want a Mr. Miyagi.
Okay. Alrighty.
But if you let me know who this character from the other thing is, then I think that will make it easier for me.
So why don't I actually do this in character for you for a moment, and
Yeah.
we can let writer, because like sometimes when you're in the character, it can help you figure out what you want the direction to be.
Yeah.
So I think you come to Heatsink with this question, and you're like, hey, do you know of anyone, or do you have anyone that could potentially relate to this, that could help maybe guide me, or that kind of thing? And they kind of nod their head and goes, well, there are a couple options that I can think of immediately. I've done a little bit of research into where these sort of superpowers we all have came from, and from what I can tell, they actually existed before the onset of everyone having access to them. They existed a long time before the revolution that happened that gave a lot of people superpowers in the 60s. People have been able to access their mind and the psychic field that allows them to use powers for some time. In fact, when I was visiting home, my family's home a long time ago, we took a trip to Japan, and there was a There was a hero there. Kind of looks you up and down. Kind of reminds me of your powers. A writer of some kind from before the onset of abilities. Maybe even the original writer. I could put you in touch if you wanted. And they kind of they nod their head side to side, and you see them like almost like they think of something in that moment, like a
Mhm.
oh.
I
You mentioned something about this this Chris fellow wanting people with time powers. There's an old hero from back in our time period, back from your time period. They go by Lost and Found. They're a jumper. They travel through time and can even seemingly from their perspective pause it. They might have some insight on this whole situation.
Hmm.
It's up to you which one you want to pursue. Last I checked, Lost and Found is actually... They stopped. They couldn't control their powers for a while. They traveled through time for quite a few years. I actually met them a brief period in the 70s and then in the 80s and then again in the late 90s. Didn't see them for a while after that, but they're around once more. I actually think they're part of the new Premier Hero team up in New Columbia. You could seek them out, but I know that they're a bit of a recluse. They don't really interact with people if they can help it. Actually, to see them on a team at all is honestly quite astounding.
Is there something I could roll, like an equivalence of like a history check, to see how, if I know what this person's opinion on suits is?
What you mean the writer or the time traveler?
The time traveler.
The time traveler.
Because if they're premier heroes, then I think of, and like Holly thinks of like the current standing of like her connections to the group.
I'm not even gonna. You don't have to
Yeah.
roll anything. I don't think this is even something you necessarily have to roll for.
Yeah.
Because you are already given this information offhandedly.
Mhm.
You remember a conversation with Carbon Rider
Mhm.
when Carbon Rider told you that they turned down, because like the thing is, you might not trust suits and you might not trust premier heroes, but the people who become premier heroes are put in that way not by suits but by the city. Like they are voted in by the populace. They are generally the most effective and the most beloved heroes. Carbon Rider was actually voted to be the next premier hero, and he turned it down in support of the people who are currently the premier heroes in the area. Meaning, tacitly, and you'd have to check with him about it and his feelings, but tacitly, Carbon Rider has supported this hero, Lost and Found, to become a premier hero. And it's up to you how much you trust Carbon Rider's read of character, but in your experience, it's been pretty spot on.
Yeah, I think despite, if in fact informed by how standoffish Carbon is about people, Carbon trusting someone says a lot. Yeah, give me the crossover episode, baby.
Alrighty, I will have to talk to this player.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out. But you have these two leads moving forward.
Yes.
Awesome.
In lieu of that working, then yeah. But otherwise,
yeah. In lieu of that working, we'll go for that one. But otherwise, crossover episode. I will talk to Lost and Found's player. This player is awesome. I really appreciate them. They generally go by. I'm not gonna dox their name, but I will call them Piss, the player's name, as that is the name that I know them as. If anyone who knows me, you may know my Piss lore, but that was a character they played for me, and I now know them as that character's name. I shit you not.
To be fair, anyone who pays attention to our screen will occasionally see that someone rolled just name Piss.
Yep.
Yep.
But regardless, amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. That is awesome, and I will talk to that player literally tomorrow, as I have my Monday Suits game then.
Sick.
Sick. Moving on to Punky. You said you wanted to do something.
Yes.
Do you want to save this for the end and me move to Skelly first, or do you want to go now?
If you're feeling
I
it.
want to go now.
Yeah, alrighty.
Right,
I was
yeah.
just wondering whether or not you want to cut, you
Damn.
want your
I
Yuri
want
to be cut to black
Yuri.
end of episode.
I want Yuri now. We want Yuri now.
All right,
Now,
Yuri.
now,
Yuri
Okay, I'm
now.
us
speaking
up
for the
then.
people.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I was so insistent about that, but I had
Well, it's
to
almost
be.
like you were called out.
I had to be. It's almost like I was called out. Give me the Yuri. Give me the Yuri.
All right. You set the Yuri scene.
I have to set the scene.
I mean, you can tell me what you. All right, what Yuri are we pursuing?
Okay. I'm looking for a scene, where Maggie presses Spinner.
Got it.
In a very insistent manner, I think, because I think
Press the spinner about what specifically?
anything. I think Maggie cares about Spinner and is worried about Spinner because Spinner, I think, shut up, Graf. Spinner has, I think, been stopping by her like apartment infrequently over the week because she can't actually like completely detach from that space. And given that the new space was kind of destroyed, she can't completely attach to it, right? It's kind of already so fraught with turmoil that I think she finds herself a little bit adrift, like caught between these two places, not wanting to detach from one and being unable to attach to the other, but knowing that she can't stay in her home because it'll like endanger other people or whatever, quote unquote.
So you're go ahead. Sorry, I thought that was
Yeah, no, so I was just gonna say she's just been frequenting there, and I think there have been a couple. I imagine there have been a couple of impromptu movie nights that they both have spent, especially since you said the vibe of the city is starting to become like afraid and anxious.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there have been a couple of like impromptu movie nights where they just kind of like where it's like we're just neighbors, we're friends, and like they fall asleep next to each other, like leaning against each other on the couch or something, right?
You'll even like wake up to her making breakfast and that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And
we were just roommates.
And we were just roommates. I think she definitely expresses some concern, and that like probably starts the first movie night. And this is probably right after Paragon is captured. Paragon being the like premier hero of the central New Columbia, literally since premier heroes were invented. Like they was the first premier hero ever to be voted in and has been voted in ever since. Him missing is unprecedented and is definitely causing some anxiety in the city. And that's probably like the first night that y'all are sort of spending together. There are a few nights where like she like come in to hang out or maybe like it's like an accident and that kind of thing, and you two end up just like watching a movie here and there. You are at your apartment and the door, without knocking, just sort of open, and she where are you in your apartment? Give us a quick brief description of the apartment.
It's definitely like a studio apartment. I think she has I the way I'd been picturing it in my head is like there's like You open the door and you walk in, and like a couple steps in, there's the bathroom to the right. There's like a door that opens to the bathroom, and then like if you walk past that, then it's just like a big open floor space, maybe like 900 square feet. She's got the kitchen on the left, and she just has her bed set up always to the right, and maybe a little couch and like a TV against the wall, and that's kind of it. Maybe like a balcony with like a window that she steps onto every so often.
Door opens. Where are you at?
She's on a couch.
You're on the couch. Are you visible to the front of the door? Like if someone would walk in?
You would have to take a pace in, but yes, I think so.
Yeah. You're, oh my god. Like the door opens, you're like, and then, oh my god, she just leaves the light on every time, I swear.
I leave the light on when I'm in here, yeah.
Oh
you're
my!
right. No, you're right.
I
do need to see.
I was about to say I didn't hear you, come walk past my apartment, but you don't have to do that, do you? When she puts the hands on the hips.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just really quiet.
She comes and she sits down, probably not next to you on the couch. Is there like another chair here? Or is there like even like a leg rest, like a cushion that you can put your legs up
Yeah,
on?
yeah. There's probably like whatever the fuck it's called.
Ottoman.
Yes.
She sits on that and looks across from you, and she kind of narrows her eyes. She still has the apron on. You can tell she's getting off of like a late shift at work. She puts the like hat down that's part of the uniform on the table nearby, and she gives you a long, very almost stern look. Listen, I really don't mind feeding your cat, but if I'm going to come into the apartment with the assumption of feeding your cat on a daily basis, and then you are here and the cat isn't fed, I don't what am I even doing here? What?
Well, I mean, it's the cat is fed. He ate his food.
Are you going to tell me what's going on? Listen, Amber, I've done the whole like girl keeps you at a distance thing before, and it's really not healthy for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't.
I get very attached to people, and I start to read things that maybe aren't there. And listen, I love your cat, and I will happily take care of your.
You're not reading things that aren't there. I just. This isn't a good idea for me. But I can't.
What isn't a good idea? You gotta say it out loud. You gotta use words.
It's not easy using words. I say the wrong
write
thing.
them down?
She looks over and she goes, I say the wrong thing very often. DM, do I teleport?
You teleport.
And then Spinner is just staring and is like, do you see what I mean? Words are not easy.
How does that happen? How does that relate to the words?
When I lie, I guess. And your guess of what a lie is as good as mine.
Wait, so if you just said, right... Look at me. Tell me that this isn't a good idea.
This isn't a good idea.
You teleport.
I don't want you to get hurt, okay?
You don't teleport. She crosses her arms.
What am I supposed to do, huh? I. Oh,
Me!
what do you mean? Why are you saying me?
You asked what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, like a. I think she like.
Listen, I am a hot barista. Do you know how often girls with piercings hit on me?
I think like there's like a complete silence as like Spinner is like looking at the clock, and then she like turns around to see like maybe the sun's starting to go down, and she looks over and like I imagine Maggie keeps ranting and Spinner like walks over to the window and she pulls the curtain across, and then
she's
she
still
walks.
just ranting.
Yep, and she walks over to the door and she closes the door, and then she gets really close to Maggie, like really close, and she goes.
Maggie does that like, and another thing, wheels, and you were like right there.
And Spinner is like in her face, and Spinner's like, I will.
And as she just full wraps arms around you and the two of you collapse onto the couch, we're gonna cut there.
Perfect, thank you. I needed Yuri this episode. Yuri quota
Fucking
fulfilled.
amazing. Well done.
This
Great
will
scene.
certainly not end poorly.
Not at all. This is gonna go great. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
And lastly, but certainly not leastly, the last person I want to check in on our roster for today, our Black Mirror of it all.
Well, she would be spending her time concentrating on finishing the suit as quickly as possible, and I don't have it fully drawn out, but I did draw out like a rough sketch idea of what it'll look like.
Oh hell yeah!
That I posted in the group chat.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Let me take a quick look at it real quick. Is this something you want to show off now, or?
I mean, you can. I don't mind. It's extremely rough. So like, I'm just throwing together ideas.
It looks fucking awesome. I leave that choice to you about whether or not you want to save the reveal or if we just see like the schematics on a table and we see you like diving into this kind of work.
We could save it. I'll definitely have it done by next game.
Hell yeah. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Is there any work that you get up to outside of that? Is there any stuff that Black Mirror wants to focus on? Is there any social stuff that you want to touch on with Black Mirror?
That's the funny part is, for once, she seems extremely engrossed in her work. Unless somebody approaches her, she would probably be pretty reclusive right now.
You're pretty reclusive. Do you ever what does your free time look like, out of curiosity? Like when you're not working, or are you a workaholic?
She is probably a workaholic, but when she does relax, like you can always tell when she's in the like checkout, like the she's checked out mode when she has that oversized Pink Floyd t-shirt on.
Hell yeah.
But we'll always like end up in the living room probably watching like horror movies or something whenever she's trying to relax.
You watch horror movies when you relax?
Yeah.
You end up spending a lot of time with Party Animal, actually, who turns out is a massive fan of horror movies. And I think the two of you just end up just hanging out, sort of vibing, maybe bonding over horror movies. It turns out that when he was in college, he was actually in college for practical effects for film. and knows like a little bit of makeup and that kind of thing, and is specifically interested in that kind of stuff. And like while you two are chatting, I'm gonna have you. I think that this just makes sense here. This is just like one of those random little notes I have written down.
I would also counter and say that Black Mirror would be very interested in that background for Party Animal, because trying to draw and get correct practical effects and like makeup and texturing that like makeup has is very difficult.
Hell yeah, you absolutely do. They offer you some tips. They actually show you some like makeup tips. He's surprisingly good at just like any kind of makeup. And I'm gonna say you gain influence over Party Animal, as you two have like kind of formed this sort of like artistic connection with each other.
Okay. Despite loving like art and stuff like that, Black Mirror doesn't wear any makeup.
He will absolutely offer to like, start doing your makeup if you'd like, or like giving you tips on that kind of thing. No, he is 100% like a. Oh, I totally understand how like fucking rude it is to tell someone you need to wear makeup. I don't think you need to wear makeup. I also don't want to be that kind of bitch who's like, hey, you don't need to wear makeup. You're so pretty. You can wear makeup if you want to, right? Like it's all performative, right? You know what I mean? Like you just sort of put on whatever makes you feel good, and if like the colors on the face make you feel good, then you do that, right?
She replies with, "It's not that it's not that I don't think I should wear makeup. It's and she'll like pull out a pocket mirror to look at herself in the mirror with makeup and hold up one of her pen styluses, be like, it's not a good idea."
Oh, I've got it. You were like worried about like, you want me to do your makeup for you? Like, I'd be happy to.
Like rubs the back of her neck, like I'm not sure what I would look like with makeup, but sure.
I don't really get much practice anymore. Sure, let's hook you up in the bathroom. Let's see what I got. I'm gonna grab my palettes. I'll be right back.
She's
And
very afraid that something bad might happen if she tries to apply makeup while looking in the mirror.
Absolutely makes a lot of sense. But nonetheless, you allow yourself to get made up by Party Animal. How does Black Mirror feel about themselves when they look at the mirror after Party Animal does it? And I will say they would have done it based on specifications given by you. They would have asked a lot of questions. Like, what colors do you like? How much blush do you want? That sort of stuff.
When she looks in the mirror for a second, like she has a very stoic look on her face, but she probably flushes very slowly.
I don't mean this in like a presumptuous way, but you're fucking hot.
She like tries not to purse her lips because she probably has lipstick or something on now. I've not seen myself with makeup before.
Well, I don't think you need to, but if you ever want to, it's a good look on you, and I'm happy to do it.
I think this might look nice.
Yeah, no
Thank you.
problem. I'll just knock on my door anytime. Always open, especially to you.
Awesome. If there's anything I can do, like to make you something, do let me know.
Nah, don't worry about it. Actually, it's kind of a weird thing. I've never wanted to like ask someone for this, but would you mind making me like a dog collar? I think I've always wanted one, but I've never wanted to like get one for myself.
She'll turn around and take she'll grab her pen stylus and that like little like powder mirror that she keeps on her, like it's like one of the in the side pockets. She obviously has like the tablet stuff, but she has a couple things extra just in case. And she'll take out her pen stylus and she'll like kind of like look at his neck for a bit, and she's like, do you want spikes, a chain on it?
No, can you make it look like the Scooby-Doo one?
Do you want it to say PA on it instead.
Yeah, you get your picking up what I'm putting down.
I should be able to make that, and she would
Rad.
proceed to make it. She would proceed
yeah.
to make it with like the metal, the metal dangle dog tag on it, in the style of Scooby Doo.
And I think we're gonna leave our session today with Party Animal and Black Mirror looking in a mirror at the effects and accessories that they have hooked themselves up with, and both of them, maybe for the first time in a while, smiling at their own appearance in the mirror. And that's where we're gonna end the session for today.
Yippee!
I gotta give you all the wholesome before I break you next time. Great session, y'all. Thank you all for being here, as usual.
All the highest highs, the lowest lows.
Thanks for running.
Yeah, great characters written, great characterization from all of you. Very excited to see where this is going from here. Vaughn, as usual, thank you for hosting.
Mm-hmm.
You do want to what?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I said, do we want to start going around for the potentials?
Gotcha. Yes, we do absolutely want to go around with the potentials. Thank you again for reminding me. I do not know why I'm so bad at it with this game. I will never really fully understand. Top of let's start with the bottom of the screen on this for this one. Black Mirror. Do you feel like you grew closer to your closer to the team, into your own image of yourself, or further away from the team?
I would say, despite the less amount of interaction with the team, I would say closer to the team this time around.
Yeah.
Mostly just due to the extreme effort she's putting in to fit into the team.
Yeah, you're like putting in that extra effort. If you'd like, you can do the like, who made you feel welcome. But if you feel like it is, I'll give you an option here. And this is something I may do moving forward, that if you feel like it was the entire team that made you feel welcome, I will allow you to, rather than clearing a condition or marking, or rather than giving influence to that person for making you, I'll allow you to add a team to the pool. So you might either say who made you feel welcome and give them influence, or add a team to the pool that you feel it's more general.
I do think it was more general this time, because like her thoughts of just trying to get better, because this whole time, despite how strong her power is, she does feel like a weak link, especially in combat. So like thinking about the entire team of trying to find ways to better herself, I feel like the entire team is what pushed her on.
Awesome. Okay, makes sense. In that case, you may either clear condition or mark potential.
I'll mark potential. I think it's a good idea.
What about image of yourself for my or not image of yourself? What about my next player, Dear Gods, Punky? Do you feel like you grew closer, grew into your own image of yourself, or grew away from the team? Punky's dead.
Punky.
Hello? Hello? One, two,
There we go.
Hello.
Do
Yeah,
you
there
guys
you
not
are.
hear me? Am I
Yeah,
hearing
now we
you
can.
Hear you now.
What the fuck? My mic just decided to stop working. I had to restart it. I was talking that whole time.
Damn.
That's wonderful. I didn't say anything embarrassing.
Good.
Uh-huh.
I think, I don't know. I've been thinking about this, and it's kind of tough. She definitely didn't grow into an idea of herself, because she never saw herself hooking up with Maggie, for sure. She thought about it a lot, but she never saw it actually happening. And I don't know that she grew closer to the team per se, because she's already been pretty close with Z. What's the third option?
Into your own image of yourself, closer to the team and away from the team.
I think it would be away from the team. Because
yeah,
she
I actually
did
just
stuff,
got my first away from the team on Monday with my other group.
she did stuff specifically with Z and not with the full team. She hasn't resolved any of the conflict
Exactly
with
what's gonna happen.
what?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
She hasn't resolved any of this stuff with Ryder. And she started making what she thinks is a bad decision.
Absolutely. Well, in that
So-
case, you may, as a result of feeling attached, you explain why you feel detached, take influence over you away from another character. So if a character has influence over you,
Oh, I
you
don't
may
wanna
take
do
that influence away from someone.
Can I not do that?
I will say, if you choose not to,
Mm-hmm.
whoever, I will say, if you choose not to, you have to shift your labels.
I'm okay with that. I would rather. I
Okay.
think it's interesting for the people who have influence over me to have influence, and I do think that growing away from the team makes the most sense here. And I don't want to take influence away from anybody because I think that's really important for telling Spinner's story. So I
Mhm.
think shifting labels in lieu of that would be.
So
would be a
I
bit
think this is actually
Make a bit more
almost
sense.
you see it's almost an image of yourself here, not a away from the team, but the image of yourself that you see is not being part of the team.
potentially. Potentially. But see, that's the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Spinner's image of herself is not a part of the team, and I think that is what she wants, which is why she thinks she's making a bad decision. And why
Mm-hmm.
she thinks she's like growing away from the team. Like I think deep down Spinner does want to reconcile with Ryder, but she's really bitter about it and she doesn't know how to go about it first.
Does Spinner almost feel like a fuck up though?
I think a little bit, sure.
I think that is where that's coming from. You know what I mean? It's less that you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's less that you're like, oh, I don't imagine yourself as being part of the team. It's more
It's
that
more
you're
that
like,
she's being a fuck up. Okay, we found the line.
yeah, you're failing to actually fulfill this part of yourself
It's
because
Brad
you
said
feel
image
you're
of
fucked up.
myself derogatory. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I need to remember that I have two images of myself. I have good image and bad image.
Yeah, that is important. It is important.
Okay. That is just shift labels, correct?
That is just shift labels, correct.
Fantastic. All right, thank you.
And our writer.
I think grew closer because I definitely grew closer to heat sink. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. So I'm gonna remove a condition and get rid of angry. I am conditionless now. Yippee!
Yay!
Could be me. I really
You're one of
don't
my-
think. I don't think I've
Go
been
ahead.
conditionless since the beginning of the game.
I think
Same.
you are one of my only heroes that are conditionless right now.
I've endeavored to like keep conditions on me that make
Mhm.
sense.
Uh,
Where I
yeah,
could get
it's
rid
a
of them.
big
It's
part
like
of the
I kind of
game.
want to leave it on there.
Mhm.
Like right now, I still have afraid marked because she's still kind of scared right now.
I mean, it's a
I
big
mean-
part of the storytelling. It makes sense.
I'm
ahead.
just happy that I'm finally down to only one condition, and I've kept it that way for like 2 sessions, because I've had no less than 2 since we started.
I'm proud of you. And speaking of you, it's your turn.
I would say, in forms of technically, he grew into an image of himself because he's not necessarily trying to move away from the team. Like we said, it's a pride thing of why he's just working with Spinner to like protect the Foggy Bottom. But he also didn't grow closer because he didn't wrap them in. So I think he grew into his image of himself because at his core, that's what he's supposed to be doing, is protecting the Foggy Bottom. That's what he's put his like effort into over the last few years.
His whole Zytisian too.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm so
What?
sorry for that. I don't know why that happened. I'm
What the
so sorry.
What the? Hey, what the fuck? Yeah.
I don't.
What? I'm calling
I
for
don't-
mutiny. We're new DM. We're overthrowing. One of us is the new DM. It's me.
Oh, good.
Time
Does
for
that mean I
Yuri
get to be a
suits.
player? Oh my
Yuri
god!
suits.
Your
Alright.
suits, your suits, everybody's suits.
Yuri suits. Zeitgeist, your girl now. Sorry.
That's the sacrifice that has to be made.
We haven't yet written the villain that changes people's genders.
Fuck.
All right, Momo. Thank you for that. Zeit, what about you?
Yeah, like I said, shift into his image of himself. I was just gonna ask. I forgot what that is because it's been moments since I wasn't growing closer to
It
the
is
team.
it is shifting labels. Explain how you see yourself and why. Shift one label up and another down.
Okay. This will be the first time his
Actually,
mundane's
you know
gone
what?
up.
You know what I'm gonna do
What?
for like ease of access? Where's our chat?
Hell yeah.
There you go. Now you'll never lose it. Specifically that part. Because of how often it comes up.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
But that is it for us today. That is our wrap up. That is our story for this session.
Yippee.
Yeah.
I can do my send off first if you like, since mine's nice and short.
All right.
Yeah, start us off.
Hi, I'm Momo or Retrospectacles. You can find me at Blue Sky, at Retrospectacles, or here, every other Sunday for Suits, and commonly on Punky's channel. I draw, I hang out, I henshin. Thank you for having me. One, and thank you for GMing Leah. I will now, pass it over to said funky monkey here.
What the
Just
fuck?
really quickly, you said commonly, and my brain went commonly. Common.
We have fun
Anyways,
here.
Punky, it's you. We have fun here.
Hey everybody, it's me, Punky. Thanks for joining us on Threadbare Suits. It's taking me over. Help! I can't stop.
I'm just gonna call this persona Jabroni Punky until you stop.
I just saw Grab's
Jabroni
post.
Punky! You cannot be.
Jabroni Punky.
You
Oh, no.
can't call it Jabroni Punky because it will eventually be associated with Magical Girl Punky, so you can't do that. You cannot do that. Exploding me with your mind. Fuck, I couldn't think of a anime damage noise. I could, but none of them were I didn't want to make any of those noises in a fashion that could be recorded and played back. Hi everybody, I'm Punky. Twitch.tv/punky_o_o. We are there every day of the week except for Sundays when we play Suits and Thursdays. I'm going to be here all this week. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a work stream and playing some Minecraft. We got some other goodies sprinkled throughout the week. I might make a schedule. I might try to do that again or not. I don't know. I don't have fucking Vivance. Don't at me, okay? My brain just goes everywhere. I play a lot of TTRPGs with these wonderful people. You could find me either on Vaughn's channel doing the stuff here or on Tixel's channel every other Saturday doing the Lost and the Found. Or on my channel doing lots of fun collabs and stuff with people like Leah every Friday for Signalis. And speaking of, I will pass it off to Leah.
Hi. I also just want to point out Grab's fucking comment that was just party animal got the collar, so transing the gender is just the next logical step.
Yep, this is accurate.
Accurate. I'm Leah. I am gonna steal a line from Zan and say I shilled at the beginning, but you can find me at various places throughout the week, including my channel and here and Punky's channel. I just want to take a moment and say thank you for being here. We all get a limited amount of time on this plane, and thank you for spending yours with us. And I am going to now take said previously mentioned talking skull and roll it along the floor to our one, our only Skeletalpha.
Just imagine as it rolls on the floor, you just hear.
Yeah.
But hi, everybody. I'm Skelly Alpha. You can find me on Twitch, Blue Sky, and YouTube under the same names. Later tonight, I'll be uploading the swath of VODs to YouTube. I'll probably be doing that every weekend, probably on Sunday. Next week, tomorrow, going to have the model reveal, unless something catastrophic happens. Tuesday will be more Paper Mario and the Cosmic Caper. And the rest of the week will... Besides finishing up Deltarune Chapter 5, will probably be just a crap ton of art fight, because it's art fight season, like, starting July 1st. It's go time for the entire month. So expect a lot of that. I'm already talking with a bunch of people to hang out with while doing all kinds of drawing. Maybe I'll try to work some D&D prep in there somewhere. I don't know. That's it for me. I believe everybody's gone but Vaughn, right? Yeah,
Well, yes, hi. Well, you've already found me here at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn. You can find me on Blue Sky and YouTube at Burnout Vaughn, over on Patreon, Burnout's Bar. I'd also like to say for any of the people who might have stuck around from JC's raid, hi, if you want to see more stuff that me and JC have done, we did 9 episodes of 5th edition's Dragon Heist, which are over on the YouTube channel if you want to see those. If you want to see your favorite voice actor do an entire, like, mini-series. But... if you want to see something that's more concurrent, tune in on Tuesday. We've got the Cosmic Caper, which is Paper Mario in D&D, where, you know, we didn't just unleash a ghost tornado. We're fine. We're fine.
We didn't do that. We did not do that. Something else happened.
That's
We were
correct.
disconnected.
Y'all guys didn't do that.
You all guys didn't do that, derogatory.
We didn't do that. And by that, I mean stop that from happening.
We didn't stop that. We also didn't cause it.
We were ambivalent at best. But yes, if you want to see the fallout from that, come with us on Tuesday. Besides that, on Thursday, we'll be starting up our new series where me and the Trinket Witch get together for the Skeleton Crew as we go through a blind playthrough of Persona 4 Golden, which, yeah, we are 2 people who managed to go through without absorbing that one piece of giant anime media. So if you want to watch us bumble through a murder, then go ahead and check that out. And then on...
I'll honestly probably watch it, as I have never experienced Persona media, and it will probably be a good way for me too.
Yeah, nice. Following that, on Saturday, we possibly have the conclusion of episode 2 of the Devil, where, you know, it's time for us to take out some aggression we've had on certain characters, and the fact they're acting like Ace Attorney characters honestly only makes it easier for me. I'm not sure about Zako and Saris, but please tune in for that. And following that on next Sunday, well, we've got a lot of Fallout. I think next session is just nothing but Fallout. So yeah, if anything from this episode caught your attention, whether it be the goings-on of the people over at the Mint, we've got more of the issues with Ryder, or possibly, you know, just the suit that we want to see exactly how cool Black Mirror's wearing, then yeah, check us out next Sunday. But since we're still talking about suits, we might as well raid the only person I see who's also involved with suits, which would be one Distortion Devil.
Oh, true. He is in my Pristine group, which is my Thursday crew.
All right, what should our raid message be?
Good dog.
Okay. All right.
Dog.
No, I like it. It's simple, succinct. Thank you all for coming out. We will see you again in 1 week's time. Thank you. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.